Do you think this is a core Enchantress? Or are they going to run it as a POS 5? That's my question here, because core Enchantress yesterday, and I believe it did actually work out quite fine. This time around, however, I don't know if it will be that POS 3 Enchantress we saw yesterday. It seems like they're just going to run it as a position 5 up against that Abaddon and just blow up the shield every time with, one impetus. Just blow up that Aphotic shield, make sure that KP can't run in feeling can't die. I don't know, it could be an offlane Enchantress again. It's a possibility. I guess it's a flex pick in and of itself, but there's definitely better offlanes to pick.
Yeah, for sure. I think the support duo of Shaker Enchantress isn't the strongest, to be honest, but in that case, you're giving the Shaker a lot of space because Enchantress is very selfless. So if they are going to go that route, I can see it really benefiting Boomy. Game 1, what is Enigma? They just wait for the blink, they wait for the BKB, and then they start fighting. In this case, it's the blink for the Shaker, and of course, Morphling Shaker just came out.
How ironic, right? Running Morph Shaker up against CSC. How are the tables how to play against this? I don't think they'll have.
He goes into the Ricky, like we saw them do that a couple of times. The silence can make it a bit. All right, yeah, nah. They've I know, like the only heroes like that comes to my mind that TNC falls back to is something like the Terrorblade, and I wouldn't want to see that here for sure.
Definitely not the Terrorblade, not this game.
No.
Morphing doesn't care for the Terrorblade anyway. You just go.
He likes it.
Build. Yeah, loves it.
Yeah, he gets a free metamorphosis. Yeah.
Even better. So they'll ban out the Sloth. That's really the only concern they have. Someone who can still stats off the Morphling. Fair enough. And Adroit now, their final pick, they're looking for some kind of offlane or POS 5, depending on where this Enchantress is going to go. I'm sure they'll just choose a different offlane for Ben Soy, though. I don't think they want him on something like an Enchantress.
Nah, it's work, but considering how strong their lineup is, you would want a bit more. We have seen Ben Soy Ravage. That was a pseudo support. Right. Like it ended up just being underfarmed. I think that would fit into this lineup pretty nicely. It just gives them so much control. You have to be careful of the Rubik though, of course, but again, they've already got to worry about the Shaker into the Rubik, so if a droid's that confident, I don't think the tide's too bad here. Okay.
Phoenix pops out, so that could be a core Enchantress, that could be a core Phoenix. I doubt it's a core Phoenix. It looks like it is probably going to be that POS 3 Enchantress. I suppose it could go either way. They still have it flexible there for those two options. However, their final POS 1 pick. You brought up the peel. I really do feel like that's their only option here. But again, you're into a Shaker. Even the Morphling can morph into the peel, and that can be very, very frustrating to deal with. Just giving Doppelganger away to a Morphling is not a good idea.
No. And even the Ember deals with that well, so I'm not sure if that's really a strong option for TNC, but again, their pool has been limited. It's just down to how they drafted. They need something that has more impact.
You could see something like an Ursa pop out. You just run the Inkswell Ursa combo. I mean, I don't think it's great up against the Morph.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? There's a Phoenix there. You can burst the egg down. If you can get to that point where you have an Abyssal, you could burst the Morphling down as an Ursa. You have that natural lane combo. with the Grimstroke, I wouldn't blame them. You already have a left track there. It's a very fast-paced sort of lineup.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of the only options, but it's still not something I like here. It's going to be susceptible to kiting. You've already got to worry about the Shaker. You've got the Chains from the Ember. You've got the Enchantress who's just going to kite you around as well. And there's a lot of mobility in a droid's kit, like Ember Spirit, mobile, Morphling's highly mobile, Phoenix is mobile, and looks like Bensoy is on the Phoenix. So I'm wondering how a droid's going to split that farm. We've seen Bensoy on this position before. You know, he's on a pause tree that ends up not getting farm, and you do see that spill into Boomy and CML instead. So there's still some flexibility with the farm timing here from a droid. I do have to say TNC's draft looks a lot better than game 1. They're not leaving themselves in certain holes. I still feel like a droid's draft is better overall, though.
Oh, I'd have to. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt about that, John. So it does look a lot better now. If TNC can get the start going, if they can get Gabby some farm, get him a bit of momentum on this Ursa with Armel, I think they have a good chance of pulling off this victory. But if a droid just played the way they played in game 1, I don't think TNC have a chance. Not with this kind of
they just play so aggressively. TNC's lineup doesn't take too much. That's one great thing about having these kinds of cores. It's just the pace from a droid is really, really fast.
Gives us the loser.
Oh man.
I love the droid. I love how they're not intimidated by a big team like TNC. They just give it to them all the time.
Oh yeah.
I can respect that.
Prepare for battle.
This dual lane coming out from a droid is interesting. Morphling Ench. I mean, it does happen. It can be potent. I like the start from CML. Of course, Blightstone straight up. Just gonna abuse that range. Up against an Abaddon, there isn't any range. So expect a lot of early damage coming out. I'm sure Tim's will try to make that a bit harder, but he's not gonna enjoy trading with the Enchantress as well.
Here we go. It's a interesting lane. The thing is with the Enchantress though, you just dominate the lane. Like it's not. That's all she does. She just wins the lane for the morph. I mean, we kind of talked about the Enchantress up against the Abaddon. You just throw the impetus, blow up the shield, make it so you don't have KB just running up to Natsumi and auto attacking to try and get that off. CML though, surprisingly enough, has run down to the bot lane now.
30 seconds to battle.
Wonder what they're up to here.
Could be looking at first blood at least. It is fairly potent, although I don't think you really want to force it out too much. There's a lot of control in TNC at level 1 as well.
Going. Matt gonna join in as well. Who do they want to aim for? I think March is your best bet here. But he's still holding onto the Bishop.
Oh yeah.
Gets a perfect block off, and Matt. It's the dream of every mid laner when they're young, John. Getting first blood before the game starts, and that's gonna mean Matt can buy a very, very early model.
Yeah, this does force him into level 1 slight, but that's really not too bad considering you are up against Armel anyway. So it's a really good start for a droid, just giving themselves a lot more gold to play with and helping them win out their crucial 1v1 mid lane. Like, Mac does set a lot of that early pace for the team.
Are they really going to leave the Morphling up top by himself, though? Like, CML is still down at the bot lane. Bensoy and Booming are there as well. They're running a bit of a try-in here up against Gabby. Of course, March is going to be there to help on the Grimstroke, but if you're going to run a tri-lane here up against this TNC draft, I don't think they can make the Inkswell combo work with the Ursa. He won't be able to do anything.
Yeah, I think this is perfectly fine for a droid. Like, Natsumi is not gonna die to an Abaddon, at least not until maybe level 3 when KB can run up and hit. But before then, it's just gonna be a farming lane for him anyway.
March just gets forced out of his own lane. Of course, CML can just harass him out.
Oh, Gabby.
Now, great Fisher out from Boomy. Gabby does jump over that Fisher and uses it to his advantage. Meanwhile, March has had to run around the world to get back into his bot lane. Does get a nice pull-off while he's coming back in.
Top tower is under attack.
CML is going to be very disruptive. And I actually do like this, because you're ruining the one good combination TNC. The top lane, and that's the thing, if you're going to run the tri lane, you might be sacking Natsumi on the morph, which is really what you don't want. They will bring CML up to make sure he has a good time.
Yeah, it's still not the worst of starts for Natsumi. I think he missed out a wave, but he's playing conservatively, and once again, Philippine internet.
Oh, I never thought the day would come where I would be the one with the better internet. I really didn't.
Yeah, it's really easy when you're in Southeast Asia, Mike, or when you're with Southeast Asians, although KP playing a bit aggressive. Not quite enough.
He's an Abaddon. You know, he can do that. The problem is his shield really isn't going to last very long, but now a nice lift in from Tim's. CML, that Curse of Avernus on him is in big trouble, but a nice stun out from Natsumi. Tim's Fade Bolt, not going to be available for a while, and so they won't bother. Mind you, CML is still at that level 1 point, so it's not like he can actually go for the heal. Just have to slowly heal himself up with some tangos.
Yeah, this is hurting his laning presence, but I guess Natsumi is not gonna mind too much. Again, his farm is starting to suffer though.
Gabby ends up finding Ben Soy down at the bot lane. That Inksport Earthshock combination. No, it wasn't actually. Gabby just kind of Earthshocked, and March doesn't even have the Inksport leveled up. So Gabby, nice pickup for him. Ben Soy had the Icarus dive, doesn't actually commit it though. Meanwhile, Natsumi almost gets hit by a Fade Bolt there from Tims to cancel that sound off. Very close call, but he will be okay.
Yeah, and you can see TNC starting to apply that laning pressure they want. KP's Abaddon is really starting to impact Natsumi's farm, although it's not like he's lagging behind KP too much. It's just a 1 CS difference, and I think when you're morphling in that kind of situation with this kind of lane, you're still gonna be okay with this situation.
Oh, of course. Well, the morphling doesn't care if KP's finding any sort of form of farm. He's just going to keep farming himself. So it's a morphling after all. He's just going to have a great old time later on in this game. Gabby is having a decent old time himself though, right? He's got 16 last hits right now on that Ursa. He found 1 kill, and he's not really being contested right now. And that could be a real big problem for Adroit later on. Because the Morphling won't be able to fight back up against the Ursa through that mid game, right? Like, the Morphling does require a lot more farm. If Gabby can find that early Abyssal, TNC could start running over Adroit.
Yeah, it's certainly one of the winning factors for TNC is just getting that early farm up in Gabby, and he is saving up for the early Battle Fury, which will accelerate that farm. They have to ensure that Gabby's not going to get punished for that kind of farming build though.
Inkswell placed on himself. He should still die here. Ben Soy picks up that kill, but Icarus dive is not available right now, and that means Gabby should be able to find a secondary kill, but Boomy delaying things. It won't be enough. And I think that actually favors Gabby here on the side of TNC, right? Like, you don't mind losing March like that. In fact, if you find Boomy, you're going to be even happier. Meanwhile, Tims does get CML off the top lane, but Gabby is still chasing down Boomy. He will eventually let that go. Natsumi did manage to at least get Tims as a trade on that Ruby. So both Pos 1s right now enjoying some very nice kills for themselves.
Yeah, they are getting a lot more in these exchanges, although again, there is still a slight lead for Adroit overall in terms of net worth. Not much. It's still fairly even 3-3. I think TNC just needs to hit some EXP points. You've got 6 up and running on Armel, but Mac is level 6 as well. So that mid lane kill potential for both sides is fairly even. You have to look to Mac maybe getting a side lane rotation out.
It's going to be the fight over that. Yeah, nice fish around Mac. Stroke of Fate does miss as well, but Tim's, he will have enough. And that was unfortunate for Mac because he actually had the Remnant at the right spot prior to remnanting down to the southern power rune spot, but yeah, he goes for the wrong one. He could have had a double damage.
Yeah, he did kind of play himself, although Boomy with that does hit really hard.
He does. Tim's trapped up right now. The CML will be able to pick up the kill. So they do at least, get a kill going for them on the side of Droid, but you just don't want to lose your Ember like that.
Nah. It does still slow down Mac. And of course you are giving Armel more gold to play with, which isn't optimal. Like the Leshrac, once it has the Yules, is going to be a lot harder to deal with, is going to constantly pump out the damage, and TNC at this point looking to play aggressive.
Nice lift up on the Earthshaker, but now he's surrounded. Not quite bursted, however. They're unable to make the dive down to secure that kill on the Ruby. But they do manage to at least get Boomy out of there.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that Droid has to start playing around, is protecting Boomy. He's saving up straight up for the blink now. So it's around that time when the Shaker does start to get a bit more farm priority. And I think Droid's going to have to wait out for that item pickup before committing to bigger fights, although Tim's
gets him chanted up. Away, but he's already committed that lift, and that means Boomy can easily set up for another kill. Boomy does pick up the kill as well. And I was going to say, you definitely want to give that kill away to Boomy right now, because any bit of gold will really help.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
handle.
Bot lane, Ben Soy, we get chased down. Ingswell won't end up stunning him up before he does get the Icarus dive. So Gabby, not finding the kill, but he will be able to just get back to farming. Interestingly enough though, he is going for the Battle Fury build. Ben Soy in a bit of trouble, doesn't have that dive. Gabby trying to secure this kill, but getting juked down right now. He's running the wrong way, and that's because Matt was around on that Ember. It was all a bait from Ben Soy. And they secured a very, very important kill here on the side of a droid. And Matt now just go ahead and secure that creep wave, find the neutral creeps. If we could just go back a second, John, that Battle Fury build on the Ursa, not sure if that's really going to pay off up against the Morphling.
Yeah, I get why they're going for it. We see this a lot from Ursus, although Egg has been committed first. March? Oh yeah, he's gone.
March just barely on the outer edge of that Egg. Does get stunned up, and Matt picks up another kill on the Ember. And with that, they're going to start pressuring that bottom T1 tower.
And this is one of the things that Adroit has better than TNC on their off lanes. KP at 6 doesn't contribute in the same way. He gets tankier, he can cop a couple of ganks or just cop the attention, but he's not giving you a big teamfight utility spell. So he's just maintaining this lane up against Natsumi, and Natsumi's still finding farm.
That he is. They are going to come down to the bot lane, TNC. They know Matt's around there somewhere. So is Ben Soy, currently showing on that Phoenix. Now they both show in front of that T1 tower, but you just don't have the lockdown for Mac, I don't believe. Gabby will get started. Mac will run it away. Mel coming in with that lightning, but it just does nothing. And this is just not great news for TNC, as they're making all these big rotations, but they're not capitalizing on it at all. And they found the bounty at least, I guess, but that's only one bounty.
Yeah. And they lose KP as well.
Yeah, they secured the Abaddon kill.
They lost KP, they lost the top tier 1. Adroit is slowly chipping away on the map, and TNC, they're still waiting for a lot more to come out. Like, we were talking about the Battle Fury, and we never finished that conversation, but we see Ursus do this all the time. rush the Battle Fury, try to play the farming game. It's just that this helps a droid a lot more because that's just more time for Natsumi to work on the shotgun. And we talked about kiteability of the Ursa. Once the shotgun's up, you have a lot more to worry about because your timing on the enrage has to be on point. Otherwise, even if you're not blown up, you are going to be disarmed. And that's just as bad for an Ursa.
Yeah, I really thought he was going to just try and go into the Basher and then the Abyssal to have some control there for Natsumi and the rest of the gang on the droid, but Battle Fury is going to be the build. It's going to make it so they play a very slow game up against the droid. You look at Gabby's farm, it's not exactly the top right now. Right now, Mac and Natsumi are sitting at the top of that net worth board. Still top tier 1 tower, going to be under siege now from TNC, but Mac is there. A great chains out. Egg has been dropped as well. Armel, he will fall low, but barely does survive in the end. Mac would love to keep going, but they are just way too far apart. The TNT now, they go for a bit of a reset back into Mac. He shouldn't expect this, but Split Earth does not connect. They just want that tier 1 tower. TNC, they will be able to take it. However,
Gabby?
Gonna find CML. A droid do not feel confident to try and fight back, so that was actually a very, very nice rotation from Gabby. Gets himself a free kill.
It's a nice, easy pick-off for TNC. They do manage to capture the outpost up top as well, but a droid are just going to avoid for the rest. They are still giving Natsumi that space down, but you are seeing him save up into an SNY. So Natsumi's the one who wants to play fast compared to Gabby. He actually just wants to run in, right-click off, and start killing heroes early on.
You've got to love that from a droid though, right? They're always this team in SCA that goes for the very, very unique kind of drafts and item builds. How often do you see an SNY build on a Morphling? Four things.
Yeah, it's not very common though.
Mid lane, setting up for a big team fight. KP going to be in big, big trouble. Mac is going to be able to really clean up here and does find a double kill. So 3 heroes going down to the side of TNC once again, and a droid can now start pressuring that mid tier 1 tower.
Yeah, they should be able to get a good amount of damage. That's going to be great control coming in. Boomy gets a big slam. He doesn't have the blink yet. He has it now.
Uh-oh.
So, if that's what he was doing without the blink, I'd hate to see what happens at TNC after.
One of those players, he just has fantastic positioning. It's very hard to know where he is at all times, and he just knows when to go into that perfect moment. CML gonna avoid a gank attempt there from TNC. Now TNC are gonna smoke up. They are gonna bring Gabby along with them. Gabby is very close to finishing off that Battle Fury, but hasn't quite got it off yet. They are gonna head down bot where Natsumi is in the Morphling, but he's already backing out as well, and it's a very, very nice scan out from the droid. Perfectly placed. They'll be out of there.
Yeah, and they really are just dancing around the map, wasting TNC's time, while just working in the favor of the droid. They've got nice deep wards as well, so they should know where TNC is now that the smoke fades, and they can choose to try to force something out, although it looks like they are just happy finding farm. I mean, you're building up in the Morphling, you're building up on your Ember, who's going straight for the Desolator build, which I love when you work into a right-click morph as well. So all the damage in the world will be coming out fairly soon for a droid.
That it will. Now Mac actually going to rotate straight into Armel. Does get the Courier of March. Armel trying to build into a Bloodstone, it seems, on that Leshrac, but in terms of Leshrac farm, as it goes, it's been a bit slow for him. Mid lane KP gonna get chased down now. A great fish around from Boomy. Blocking KP on that low ground. Nice soulbind out from March. KP is still burning right now. No borrowed time left for him. He's just trying to run away, but Mac, do you want to keep going? No, the answer is not. He does back off. You can really see the strength there from that Fisher from Boomy. He's just He's this Earthtaker that constantly just ends up finding these amazing dishes during a team fight that just blocks everyone off. In fact, right now, he gets another nice block off on Tim's. Lift up on the Ember map. He's going to try and fight back. Sunray going to be there. Tim should eventually just burn out. He's still trying to fight back, but no, he does go down. Mac, however, does not want to die like this. Booby jumps in with the enchanted totem, and now he waits for the creep wave. It's so much damage up from Boomy into the egg of Ben Soy, and Mac gets out of there scot-free. Oh, what an echo slam from Boomy.
Oh man, I love the patience coming out there. It's like he just waited. KP just blew up right next to him, and he can't even find the Ember who is low. Adroit, once more, dancing around TNC. TNC, they've got to wait for these item buildups. Gabby has to be a bit careful. Needs to save up for the BKB. He's trying to go in.
They're just going to chase him down. CML is very, very low right now. Gabby's trying to juke his way out of this tree line from Mac. He does manage the TP out. Got that Battle Fury up. It's just not going to be quite enough yet.
No, definitely not. It's just to speed up the farm. The BKB will be nice, but I think more importantly, you probably want the Blinker Abyssal coming out right after. You just need a way to go in, pin someone down, and blow them up immediately. And TNC doesn't have that. They're going to have to wait a little bit longer for Gabby to find that farm. Adroit should be aware, though. They need to kind of slow down Gabby. If they do give an opportunity there, it could swing if TNC finds some key pickoffs.
How do they find them, though? Like, the lockdown's still the big problem here for TNC. The best you've got right now is Lift, and you've got Armel, Yules, and to start. That's really all you've got. You can make the argument the Inkswell's there as well for March, but it hasn't really been working out that way now. Well, Gabby trying to go for a Roshan, but he gets as well. With the Sunray from Ben Soy, he's taking out the Inkswell. They help out. Matt jumps in. They found CML, but they're going to lose Gabby. And now, Mel, there's no way out of this situation. He is definitely dying. And Mac is already looking for another target. Natsumi gonna be there as well. They burst down March. And on top of all that, it looks like they'll also find KP. Another Fisher block on KP. He's gonna try and run away. He does have borrowed time, but they're just gonna follow him. Stalk the prey. And almost at that high ground, but not quite. Mac will be able to secure the kill for the team. And John, they've got a Roshan to take. There's a double damage waiting for them. TNC started it, gets the Roshan warmed up. Ben Soy thinking about denying the power root, but he won't. If he did. Natsumi will take the double damage.
Yeah, look at how much he hits. 190 plus 190. That's without his rate bands as well, so it's going to be a very quick take. And we haven't even really seen Natsumi fully topped up. Like, he's saving for the Ags for the Shaker combination. Boomy!
And again, Boomy with the fish on. Natsumi is there as well. And Gabby going to get controlled up. She's going to die. And Boomy's getting all the tips this game.
I mean, you have to. That slam was perfect. TNC clump up on the high ground. They know there's a Shaker. They were a lot more disciplined about the black hole spacing last game. This time around, Boomy is just eating them up.
We've seen this so many times from Boomy as well. He just tends to be able to land those big echoes every time, and now Adroit gonna go for that mid-tier 2 tower. It's gonna be a very easy tower to take because you have that Deso, you have all this auto attack damage from Natsumi. And
Tower has fallen.
Adroit continuing to take map control here in PNC. It's hard to know what you can get done here.
My waters rise. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Let's start up on KP. Fisher will not connect this time. KP should be fine anyway. He has the borrowed time. You do have Mac coming in though.
A tool to teach.
Ed was being committed as well from Ben Soy. Little fights going on all across the map right now, it seems. Even Mark against Mac, but Mac just gets the kill. Just cancels off the TP, gets the chains off, and it was that easy.
You can't stand up against Mac. Like, he's got the Dezo, of course, the Blade Mail gives him more damage. He's building into the crit stick, into the Daedalus. So he is just going all in on right clicks, and you can't even really just toy with him right now as a support. And you look at that build-up on Natsumi, the Ags, I think, is coming in. There you go. So Shaker Morphling time. It wasn't silly enough. It's going to get a bit sillier now.
Oh, I love it.
Up against TNC.
Up against TNC. And the thing is as well, we're only 21 minutes in, John. Natsumi's got Sanjin Yasha, Morbid Mask, Treads, Wand, and fucking Aghanim Scepter. Excuse my French, and it's just...
It is.
It is.
There you go.
Insanity. Like, his farm is crazy right now. Sitting at 12.5k, and...
You could just blow someone up.
Here we go. Fisher, perfect from Natsumi.
There you go.
Another Fisher from Boomy. Just make the wall bigger. And now
boy.
Tim's getting jumped on. Is gonna die.
Oh no.
Bang. Natsumi just one hit. Finds another.
Oh man. March.
March, you've got to run away. You know what this combo does, sort of. So you've drafted this many times. Soulbind is gonna be there, however. Silence is out as well. Big deals here for TNC, but no, Ben Soy, you just don't have the lockdown. He's literally just running away right now. Shield does explode. Ben Soy just uses the Icarus time and gets out of there.
Oh man, this is just getting even tougher. You've got the disarm on Ben Soy, so even if it's around to right click, he's not gonna get any hits off. Oh man.
Natsumi, yeah, back
That
in.
tower damage.
It's a lot of tower damage. Fisher out. Mark explodes. TNC trying their best to defend this tier 3 tower. Mac is just so confident right now. Has the Crystalus up as well as the Daedalus, as the Desolator. Smoke gonna be there from TNC. It's the only way they can really initiate this team fight. Oh, there's the stun. KP gonna have that borrowed time popped. Another great Fisher around, so a great stun out, and well, the Aegis. That's a big start, but now Mac, he'll just jump in. Gabby does take care of the X, so Ben Soy is also gonna die, but Mac's the little problem. He found a double, but Gabby, he finds a double as well. They have lost the melee barracks, but they are finding kills. Boomy gets a Fisher, follow-up Fisher coming out. More Fishers, there's a third Fisher from Tim.
Oh man.
And they come in, they clean up that racks. And a droid that apparently aren't done yet, John. They want to keep going.
Yeah, I mean, why not? They have the damage. The respawns aren't going to be too long, and they know TNC can't really do too much about it, although they will back off now, play a bit more conservatively. You take a look at Natsumi saving up for the shotgun next. So now no one's going to survive when he comes in. They're really just gone. There's no way you live through this one. Oh? Uh-oh.
Natsumi's way. Oh no. TNC.
Oh no.
They have all the vision, the Fisher's there.
Oh no.
He jumps in for the Echo again. Oh, it's the calm before the storm, John. They just wait so patiently, and well, in the back lines, Gabby does BKB TP away. KP also gets out of there. I'm starting to learn a very valuable lesson here today, John. Apparently, you cannot give a droid Echo, a droid the Earth Shaker. It's a big.
Oh no. You never do. Boomy is just so comfy in that hero. I'd say it's his signature. That and the Enigma. So the fact that the droid's been able to pick up those heroes, you're asking for trouble if you let them have those.
Not true, he just goes in for the mid-racks. His whole team isn't even with him right now. Currently, KP is trying to get away from Boomy. He can't TP because he knows that it'll be cancelled. So KP is just going to keep running. His Rax is under siege. March will die. Mel will die. Gabby's the only one left. KP does finally get the TP off, but now the chains are out from Max, who's controlling both these heroes. March, he'll buy back. But again, I ask the question, how do you defend?
You can't. At least they're not going to get Megas just yet. There's a tier 2 still waiting, but it's not going to live too long. TNC, they need to find a way to defend. It's just, they don't have the best high ground here. There's not much team fight coming out. You've got the Scotty up now on Natsumi, so just more stats and more damage.
Oh, look at this fish up.
Oh.
Between two rocks. Now they jump in. They find March again. It's a dieback on the Grimstroke. Tim's is also to go down. Gabby trying to fight back. He gets the egg. He might find Boomy, but no. There'll be a Yule's out. Gabby will run out of enrage and he will die. And that'll be a GG call being made from TNC. Adroit get a 2-0 to start off their day.
Oh yeah, it's a great start for Adroit. Not the best for TNC. It has been a rough few months for TNC, and man, it's whew.
come in handy.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Roshan has fallen to the Radiant.
A gift from the goddess.
I could do with more of that. Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower has fallen.
Just happened.
Double kill.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's forces are fortified. Dire's middle tower is under attack. The fight begins. Monster kill. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Whoa, what I missed?
What the just happened?
How close was that? Radiant's middle tower is under attack. What the just happened? What the just happened?
Monster kill.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Stupendous. Regeneration.
Какая халява!
Roshan has fallen to the Radiant. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle
Just happened.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen. Dire's Ancient is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Do it with flair.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Coming in.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Regeneration!
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Middleman has fallen.
Illusion. Radiant team ban.
The fact that they're subbing in Febby right now, it looks like Tim's had to kind of be out for this game, so we'll see if that really affects Team.
Isn't necessarily the guy that initiates, even though he is the pos 3 player. He's more the kind of guy that makes the team fights very chaotic. But it's really Tim's that's the one that really gets that first shot in to the other team to allow TNT to rush in and start the team fight. So I haven't seen Febby play in a long time, personally.
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect from Febby. I'm sure he's very active in the scene, of course, but We'll find out very, very soon. This is going to be a completely different kind of TNC we're going to watch for this game up against Boom Esports. You were mentioning to me, however, you had some interesting stats about TNC versus Boom. Now, you did say that their last matchup, TNC 2-0'd Boom.
Yeah.
But what is the stats you had?
Beyond that matchup, TNC has not beat Boom this year. So they've only won that one series. And that's 3 other series where Boom just went 2-0 for the most part. So Boom still has a historic advantage in that sense. It looks like they have had TNC's number the past year. And again, we'll see whether or not TNC's allowed to go back to that Gabby Ricky. That was the key for them. Although it does look like Boom is shaking up their draft a bit. The Beastmaster is something we've seen them run on FBZ quite a fair bit, but the Mirana is not something we've seen Boom usually dip into. So they picked that up for themselves. They should have a stable way of finding EXP for that hero. And of course, they've got some great timings for aggression. Once you have that Moonlight Shadow, you can just go around the map trying to look for a pick-off.
I mean, the Mirana is very, very strong in this current meta. I'm sure Boom are going to be able to play that to quite a success. TNC, they did start off with the Earthshaker pick. Generally speaking, that would be the Tim's hero, but I suppose Febby's going to be the pos 4 here? We don't even know what position he's going to play.
I think it's likely he's going to be 4. I believe that was the position he played when he was in Genesis, right? Like when we were casting Genesis,
Okay.
he was on that pos 4 role.
Right.
So it's probably Fabby Shaker. We do see the NP coming out here as well. So there's some flexibility now. I think it's still kind of open whether or not you want the Shaker or the NP to kind of be the one running around, although we have seen a tendency for the Nature's Prophet on the offlane.
Right.
So we'll see just how much they can get from KP in that case. It's one of those offlaners we see often, right? You just have great push potential, you've got great presence on the map for rotations, and that can play against the aggression Boom wants. So there are certain things now kind of lining up for TNC. We'll see how much more they build up with this draft. It's not the strongest opening in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm going to be frank as well. When I think of Nature's Prophet, I don't necessarily think of KP straight away. He does play the hero. It's just not one of his signature heroes. It's not one of the heroes you see him on very often. Which does really make me feel like it may be the March Pos 5 Prophet. I don't know if that really suits the meta though right now. Every other time we do see the Prophet, it is in the Pos 3, or even the Pos 1 at some points. It's also not a very Gabby-like hero, so
Nah.
more than likely going to be Pos 3 or Pos 5. Boom Esports, they will happily respond with the Winter Wyvern now. Not really much reason for the Wyvern, I would say, John. I suppose you've got some nice D push there with the Splinter Blast, and Winter's Curse is always pretty darn good. However, will not hesitate. They will go into the Grimstroke, and now we know that that will definitely be an off-lane Prophet.
Yeah, so it's the core Prophet, which, again, you mentioned it, but it's not exactly the most KP disruptive hero, but we've seen a lot of teams favor that. We'll see how much they can maximize. I think with the Grimstroke, though, you are building up a little bit more in that presence. We've seen a lot of plays with, say, running a Treant up with the Inkswell, and that is pretty annoying to deal with. So you've got that option now from TNC. Boom with the Winter Wyvern, I think, is still pretty solid, even though you don't have the best of, like, heroes to punish for that. It just gives Boom a lot of early aggression that we have seen them favor. Like, Boom Esports just loves running at you, loves forcing fights. Laning presence with a Winter Wyvern, you've got great team fight. The only issue is, say, something like easy stuns coming out. There aren't much. You're depending on 2 ults and an arrow, and that is something TNC can kind of abuse there.
Yeah, that is definitely true. Like, unless this Mirana plays like an absolute god, they are going to have to really rely on that roar from the Beastmaster and the Curse from that Wyvern. Of course, there used to be that build with Mirana a couple months ago, I think it was, where you just built straight into the Yule Scepter.
Ooh.
And Boom Esports now, into the Wraith King. I know what you're thinking, John. He better have the... it better be a Skeleton King we're going to see.
Oh, yeah.
But TNC Predator goes straight into the PA, so not bothering with that Pos 1 Ricky. Is it a good PA game though?
A good PA game, you pick it into Winter Wyvern. I don't think that's ever going to be good. It's always going to be a lot more difficult for the targets you jump. You have to worry about the Cold Embrace blocking your damage. You have to worry about the Winter's Curse. And PA up against Raid King, it's not the best in terms of burning early mana. So there is a way for the Raid King to kind of leverage that. PNC builds, right? Like we've seen Gabby opt for Battle Furies a lot. I think this is a game for it. This is not too bad. You're going to be clearing out skeletons. You're clearing out Beastmaster summons. There is value in a slower PA game. You will just be giving time for the Raid King to build up though, if you go that route. Like, you don't tend to see a Battle Fury Raid King for the most part. The slower build is like a Radiance, which is more of a fighting build anyway. So regardless of what Boom decides to go for, they will be online a bit faster in that Raid King than you'd expect the PA to be.
And it's going to be a question as well of what kind of build the PA goes into, right? Because do you really want the Battle Fury this game? We've seen Gabby do it though, that's the thing. Like last time we saw TNC play PA, I believe we comment. Wait a minute. Tidehunters picked up. I don't see a mid laner here. So it's either a Tide off lane or a Tide mid. It could be a PA mid or a PA pos 1. And so who's off lane here? Like it must be the Tidehunter, right?
Yeah,
it could be a mid Tide, but for what reason? We don't even know who's mid for Boom Esports here.
yeah, I don't think it's great down mid. Ooh, then Boom closes out with Necrophos as well. So there's a lot here to deal with that PA. I think just yes, Dreamocell has it. Yeah, he doesn't disappoint, but okay, so it's KP on the Tide. It's NP mid isn't too bad. Like that's something we've seen before. Well, rarely, very, very rarely before, but it can kind of work. I don't know how much value you're getting from it though, up against a Necrophos. Like Mikoto should just have free last hits there. There's really not much you can do.
So mid profit. That's a new one. We've seen plenty of off-lane profit, plenty of safe-lane profit, plenty of support profit. I have not seen the mid profit yet. How much it's going to do for Armel, I'm very intrigued. I haven't had the pleasure of seeing Armel on this hero. Febby will indeed be playing the pos for Earthshaker, so fair enough. He just directly swaps out with Tim's.
Yeah, it's...
I've got to go ahead and say on a whim, I think Boom Esports draft is much better. But
oh yeah.
Then again, I'm saying that without really knowing what the strategy here is for TNC. I don't know what they're up to. It just seems very all over the place. Now, mind you, it's a very early style lineup, and they can fight very early into Boom Esports. So coming from that series where they were up against a Droid, where a Droid was just running at them constantly, this time they are going to be able to fight back, right? They won't have to wait too long to have those big ultis up. They have a Prophet who can TP constantly. They have a Tidehunter Ravage. It's always going to be good. But whether it's going to work up against Boom Esports, that's a whole different question entirely.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue I have with this faster draft coming out from PNC is that, yeah, they've got earlier ults, but there's a cooldown in Ravage. There's a cooldown on Echo Slam. Those are pretty long. And how can you beat the one true Skeleton King, Mike? You can't.
You can't. Can't do it. And here we are. We're going to harvest some tributes, sir. Right? It's a professional game, but we're still harvesting some souls. We'll see. Dreamocell, he wants all those heroes, apparently. I don't know how this harvesting thing works, John. I haven't got this Arcana. Because, you know, I'm broke, unlike you, apparently. But it seems as though he needs all the heroes. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, I think you need 100 unique heroes to kill, so that's basically the majority. It's not going to be an easy time for Dreamocell. Like we were talking about TNC's draft having holes. You are still running a Raid King up against a Tide. That is something KP can really leverage. And
just say Raid King. I don't.
Right. It's a Skeleton King. Right, of course. This title on the portrait's just wrong. You know,
It is wrong.
it's just wrong.
It's unplayable, Valve. You got to change this. This is very incorrect.
Oh boy.
So anyway, you were saying the Skeleton King up against KP.
Yeah, it's you know, the tide can just really slow down that pace. Kezcute will have to really provide a strong distraction here. Once you have level 3 in KP, it gets a little bit tougher for Dreamocell to find that free farm he would like.
KP's already going to take a bit of harass here, but we'll actually lose half his HP out of that, surprisingly enough, just from that Arctic burn. I believe that was a 2-for-2 trade on the bounties, and it was. Boom managed to find both bottom bounty runes. But yeah, I do agree, it should be somewhat of a struggle here for the Skeleton King to find some farm up against KP's Tide. How much of a struggle though is a different story entirely, and I love the fact that Peppy goes for the double block. That's not something you see so often. You usually see only one Fisher block on that creep wave, but going for the double block like that is going to give KP a really good start.
Yeah, and that's really going to be important for TNC. They need KP to be in a position to slow down Dreamocell's farm. We've seen Wraith Kings play from behind. It's not the best. Like, their jungle farm is alright, but you do start to lose the push potency when you have to use those skeletons to clear out camps instead.
At least you do have that option though. Like Dreamocell, even if he does have this bad lane matchup, will always have that secondary source of income. But look at KP being so aggressive right now. Nice Fisher out from Febby, but it won't quite block Dreamocell in. Had it done so, that may have actually been a kill for KP. Dreamocell will at least get his salve off and be perfectly fine. But Dreamocell will have to be very wary, even of the Gush. Armor and slow is quite detrimental to this hero.
Yeah, it's really just not the easiest time. I think if you compare that to RPA down bot, you are seeing a little bit more coming out in the FBZ.
Yeah, he might be dead right now. You have that Blink Inkswell combination. FBZ does die. March the one to take the kill on the Grimstroke. But it's a decent start here for TNC, and that's really one thing we didn't really mention in that draft stage, John. Last game you had an Earth Shock into an Inkswell. This time you have a Blink Strike into an Inkswell.
Yeah, it's still plenty potent. It comes online really strong in the lane, and FBZ, even if he's on this Beastmaster, which can win out, I don't think it's going to be very easy with the presence of that Grimstroke. There's only so much you can expect from Hyde to pull that pressure off, and it's not going to be that easy here.
Look at that mid lane as well. It's the one lane we haven't really talked about at all yet. It's Armor versus Mikoto, Necrophos versus Nature's Prophet, which I'd see the day. I'd see these two heroes in the mid lane, but here we are. As you can imagine, John, they're just hitting creeps. It's really all you can do. So neither one really going to be affected by the other up until maybe the level 6 mark, where you will have that Reaper's Cypher. But up until that point, guaranteed neither of these heroes will die.
Nah, definitely not. They're not going to be looking to play too aggressively. I think the one advantage Armel has is that he could perhaps dip into his camps easier, so he can accelerate his farm just a bit more, and you can control the waves with those treants, whereas Mikado, he's going to have to spam the Death Pulse if he wants to clear out the wave, which...
In trouble, Inkswell does connect Gabby right behind him with another dagger to the back. FBZ trying to run away, but he's running out of regen, and he is going to die once again to Gabby. Still Hyde, going to try and get the trade here onto March, but he has to be careful not to die himself. Gabby throws out another dagger with the Blink Strike. March has the Stroke of Fate. Hyde trying to leap away, but that is his last leap charge, and Gabby, he could keep chasing for this. It may be a double, and it will be. Gabby on the PA just being relentless, and Hyde just tunnel visioning on trying to get that trying to get that Grimstroke kill. Eventually does find it because March does deny himself off to the tower, but that is not great news for Boom.
It definitely isn't. It's a really, really hard lane for Boom and the bot. FBZ is not slowing down, not really putting a dent in Gabby's farm, and this should give RPA a bit of a faster start. We don't quite know yet what Gabby's going for. He still just has the phase boots queued up. So it could still be a Battle Fury game, and as long as the timing's good, I don't think it's too bad. Like, you get some decent wave clear and just a lot more farming time. The Raid King at some point does taper off, so the PA should be able to take advantage of that, as long as you don't lose your towers too fast.
Top lane, Kescute could be in trouble, though Febby doesn't go for the Fissure. Of course, Kescute has the Arctic Burn, so he'll always just be able to fly over the Fissure. But Febby will be allowed to go ahead and take both top bounty runes. Hyde will do the exact same thing down at the bot lane.
Tower is under attack.
These static lanes will remain very static. Apart from that bot lane, of course, where there was some action going on. But it looks like Hyde wants to change that a bit. He's gone to the mid lane now. Of course, if you land a nice arrow, you definitely have that kill potential. Not to mention as well, we are going to see the level 6 just come up on Makoto, so Hyde has his perfect timing right now. He's gone for that nice tree line where you won't really see the arrow to the last second, and Armel he will take it right to the face, and with that, that is a guaranteed kill. Perfectly played from Hyde.
Radiant's middle tower is
Yeah,
under
they pretty good punishment out in mid. I think this is going to just put a bit of a dent in our Melt's initial farm. They do drag Febby out, so this is freeing up some space up top. I'm sure Dreamocell will appreciate a little bit more breeding room to find his farm.
Febby's in the mid lane as well, but it's... Eventually, Armel will have to make his way back in. Febby will just leave the lane altogether. And again, I'm kind of just wondering where this mid Prophet's going to go. Like, what's the intention here? Are we looking for fast levels to get the tree and stuff to start making pushes happen? Is he rushing a Desolator? What do you think the game plan is for Armel?
I think the best way to go about it is to get the Desolator here in this game so that your PA can bypass that. If you are going to go for that greedier sort of Battle Fury build, if your NP has it, you don't need it. You can start farming for other items. Maybe you go for a Diffusal in this case. Maybe you go for a Manta to dodge stuns in this case for the PA. Because once you're pinned down by the Raid King stun, it can be a bit devastating. So there are a few more options for Gabby if they go with a physical NP in this case. Although it looks like Armel is saving up for the Blade Mail we see a lot of mid-cores go for, just for the stats for now.
That's fair enough. It's very, very standard to go for the Blade Mail right now. It's just such a great item to have in that mid lane. It's fairly standard on the Nature's Prophet to pick up that item anyway. Well, go pick up the shovel, sir. Can't leave that alone. Bot lane, Hyde, trying to be disruptive here up against Marching Gabby. Does now hit that level 4 mark on Mirana, and FBZ making his way in. He does have that level 6. You definitely always want to just try and get an immediate roar off if you can, if you are playing the Beastmaster. Even if it is just on March, you just want to have to commit it and get a kill. But he doesn't really find the opportunity, and he will just go back into the lane. That means Hyde's going to roam back into the mid lane now. Thing is, Armel isn't around, but we do have a TP coming in from Febby. So you could go ahead and secure an easy Earthshaker kill if you so wish. Febby going to be disruptive here with Hyde. Makoto won't even bother. And while all that's been happening, up at the top lane, they do manage to take the T1 tower as Armel
nice
gets the rotation. Arrow does connect, and Reaper's Scythe will finish off the kill on Febby.
Yeah, it's a great trade for Boom. Giving up that top tier 1 for the mid tier 1 is most certainly a win. The kill on top of that is a nice bonus as well. Does start to give a bit of control for TNC up top. You can see KP going deep into the jungle. They've got some nice wards out as well. So
run away. Shouldn't have lived through that. There was an arrow out by Hyde, but it just completely missed. And March, surprisingly enough, will walk away.
yeah, just a bit of a missed opportunity. Not the easiest time to burst when Reaper's sight is down. Down a piece of control, though. I suppose now that FBZ's around, you should have the hold to really clean up some heroes if you find them.
He's still looking for that roar attempt. He's chasing down March. Gabby will show himself now. The blur will wear off. Makoto's going to be there as well. They don't have Reapers, but they should have enough damage. But no, they don't. Baby gets a Fisher.
Ooh.
There's a Ravage from KP into the Ingswell on Makoto. He's in big trouble. He will end up going down. Now FBZ, does he get out? He does. They didn't have any stuns off cooldown to cancel that TP off. But you found a huge pick-up on that Necrophos. And TNC looking much better than their previous series.
Yeah, it's a lot more activity on the map for them. They are finding some key pickoffs. The one here they really haven't punished is Dreamocell. So you are looking at a fairly free-farmed Great King, but you could argue the same with Gabby. He's just been left to farm up. Again, he is going for that Battle Fury build in this case. So there is going to be a lot more farming for him, but I don't think it's a massive issue. Again, Boom's draft is the one that wants to play a bit faster. So TNC, they could probably just be perfectly fine taking it slow.
Curse going to be there on Gabby into the arrow, of course, a very old combination to have. With that, the Star 4 out from high, but Gabby is actually tankier than you'd expect.
Oh.
He turns around now, Kensuke with the Soul Bind on top of him, will end up dying. March gets the kill with the Inkswell. I mean, you'd expect they'd be able to find that kill with the Wyvern Marana, but even that arrow, just not going to be enough.
No. They didn't quite stagger that out perfectly, so the damage from the arrow didn't go through. And they really just didn't wait for the curse to almost go off before committing in. That does cost them. The two supports aren't enough to clean up. You're going to need a core there as well, though their mid tower is melting fairly quick.
It is. Mel, this is what he's good at. Stun going to fly out. Deny attempt, not going to be there. Dreamocell, do you want to keep fighting? He doesn't have Reincarnate skilled up right now. So it may not be the time for Dreamocell to get involved. And he is still trying to just farm towards that Radiance build on the Skeleton King. And with that, TNC, understanding this Radiance is being built, will start taking over that dire side jungle.
Yeah, they've got the wards, they've got the map control. They would have loved the gold, but Dreamocell somehow managed to find that tonight. Easy transition to top, though.
Well, bot lane, however, Febby ends up dying, but it won't matter if you find that top tier 2 tower. Problem is, Makoto does TP in on the Necrophos, and that'll stop any form of push happening. Does have the Reaper Scythe up as well, so you have to be very careful about going into that Necrophos for a team fight. So they will rotate. KP now just going to farm up the mid lane. And this is all just a patience game for Boom. They understand they can't actually fight without that Radiance on the Skeleton King. And Dreamocell, slowly but surely, is getting to that Sacred River soon.
Yeah, it's almost there. And that should be up before the Battle Fury of Gabby. So there's going to be a big window for Boom to have a bit of an advantage. They're just taking it slow, split pushing where they can. FBC doesn't quite have enough farm in though.
Well, Raptor has to be committed. Definitely worthwhile for that Beastmaster kill. The Inkswell just was not going to stun him in time to cancel the TP. Quick thinking though from FBZ, understanding with that TP he could at least force out a Ravage before he dies.
Yeah, it's again a bit of a down period for TNC when they expend that spell. Gonna be 2 minutes at least until you see a big engagement, and that just gives free time for Dreamocell to continue to work towards that Radiance.
That might be the idea though from TNC, right? Like, we know that Dreamocell's not going to want to fight right now. In fact, most of Boom aren't willing to fight at the moment, so just commit the Ravage because we're not going to need it anyway. I don't think they mind about that cooldown. Not for that one anyway.
Nah. It's still... You take any kill, it's still a core you're finishing off, and FBZ has been slowed down by a substantial factor. He's still saving up for his first Necronomicon. It's not the fastest pace we've seen coming out from a Beastmaster, so the potency of the push is not quite there yet. It's going to take a while for them to further pressure those tier 2s.
Boom are just going to continue to take their time. Needs the Radiance recipe now in Dreamocell. Of course, it's not like the farming's over after that, but you can at least get involved. But we do see Moonlight Shadow coming out. FBZ does have the Roar available again. Makoto is going to be right behind him, and even the Mirana just going to take the outpost while they're there. But March understands there's more than one hero around, and he will just back out of that bot lane. And it looks like they are going to make a chase up a top lane, where Kescu is just going to be able to TP out on the Wyvern.
Yeah, it's again.
They're desperately trying to push right now, but it's just not really. There's not really many openings.
Yeah, it's just a slow game from both sides. Again, you've got just a lot of heroes that need farm from Boom. Same thing going on with TNC. It is going to be the BKB right after that Battle of Fury for Gabby. Just wants to finish the Fury and jump in, take control in the fights. Once you have that BKB up, you only need to worry about FBZ. And that is still a bit of an issue, but if they can blow him up first, then it's an easy cleanup for that PA.
Yeah, I think he's just confident. Even with the Roar, it just may not be enough. Bot lane, speaking of that Roar, it will be committed just for the kill onto March, and they do eventually find it. Took a bit longer than they would have hoped for sure, but a kill is a kill, and now it's onto that bottom tier 2 tower, but their top tier 2 is being pushed in by Armel, and this is the real strength of TNC's draft. But here's the Winter's Curse coming in, arrow to follow up straight onto KP.
Oh.
In fact, no, it ended up hitting Febby. They do kill off Kescu in return though, but it looks like TNC are no longer interested in continuing this team fight. You do still have the Ravage. If you want to turn around, TNC would rather hold it for now. And, in all fairness, with Gabby having the Battle Fury, of course he just wants to keep farming. He doesn't want to fight until he has that BKB on. But you do have a Radiance now on Dreamer Soul.
Yeah, this is the point where the Wraith King's presence can't really be ignored. He's just gonna constantly burn you down throughout his 2 lives, and there's really nothing from TNC to drain that mana away. So even without that level 20 talent, Dreamo Cell should be guaranteed 2 lives every single engagement. And of course, the moment he starts showing up in lane, he can start to commit the skeletons to a tower. So there can be a push that can come out from Boom.
Now he's just going to keep farming up to try and get that Silver Edge. With that Radiance, you do escalate and farm quite a lot on this rate.
Structures are fortified.
Well, TNC, still with that Ravage, still with the Echo, will smoke up. Love to run down to that bot lane and trying to take that big team fight right now, but Makoto gonna break the smoke there on Febby. KB, meanwhile, just running up to the top lane. So instead of taking the big team fight, they want to try and get that tier 2 trade. Only thing is, Boom has already found that tier 2 bot tower, and Armel is still trying to work on the top tier 2. And boom, Moonlight Shadow Pop trying to fight the mid lane now. They know where Febby is, he's right underneath an Observer Ward. A roar will come out, followed up by an easy arrow, and that's going to be a guaranteed kill onto Febby. They still haven't found that tier 2 tower at the top lane. They're still trying to get there. Kescu has been delaying things as best as possible, and now with the Winter's Curse he can set up here onto Armel. He's holding out for now. Orchid is there on Armel, so he'll delay things quite a bit. FBZ doesn't have the roar. They'll settle for KP, however. Arrow is going to be there. Crack and Shell, however, will purge the arrow off, but it will not purge Reaper Scythe off, and an immediate smoke straight after.
Yeah, I like the aggression coming out from Boom. They know they've got a slight advantage. They've got the time now without the Tide and the Ravage. They just go straight to the Roche Pit.
It's not going to take them very long to do it either. A very, very fast process. I imagine it'll probably just go to the Skeleton King again. Yeah, Dream Assault, 3 lives to him.
Yeah, just perfect. It gets a bit hard to deal with the Wraith King. I think at this point, TNC will have to try to ignore him, but you can't ignore Skeleton King, who does have the Radiance. Like, you're just going to be burned down. It's always going to be an issue.
Bit of a shame as well, Febby still working towards that Blink Dagger on the Earthshaker. But he's got the Philosopher's Stone to speed things up a little bit. We are approaching that 20-minute mark now. He definitely wants that up ASAP. It's almost like they're buying ping space at the moment to just try and farm that up.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under
Gabby
attack.
could be in trouble here. Currently stalked, and Hawk will scout him out farming those ancients. Arrow, gonna be perfect. It does connect straight after the ancients go down, but you don't have the backup there for Hyde. So he can't really make the jump in, and Makoto had Reaper sight in 5 seconds, but the timing didn't quite align.
It's a bit of a shame. Would have been a nice kill to find before Gabby finishes up the BKB, which I do believe he will have up and running soon. So the PA has a lot more presence in these fights. Should be able to stand there and just get all the damage out as long as FBZ doesn't get the roar off. So TNC is starting to shape up into fighting form. KP.
Jumped on by those units of FBZ. He's still a very, very tanky target.
Dire's top tower.
Yeah, they won't quite make the jump. There's that BKB you talked about. Gabby does now have it up, and I imagine TNC will go for a smoke now. They also have Febby with the blink. Back mid lane, this couldn't be a more perfect moment for TNC if they kept going on Boom, but they don't. Dream Missile backs off at the right time. They actually were waiting as well for the Beastmaster blink, and now FBZ has that on.
Yeah, you've got all the initiation from both sides now. Can be rather shocking. I think it's on TNC to get the better jump. They've got all the wide AoE spells, they've got the slam, and Ravage. It's much more important for them to land that on a wide area than it is for Boom.
Boom, they smoked up, and the Moonlight Shadow is also going to be there. Going to go into that Radiant side triangle, but TNC did spot out the Moonlight. Dream Assault underneath the Sentry Ward right now as well. Gabby is, he's blurred up, but they know exactly where he is. Love to make the jump. There's so many abilities you're going to be worried about in TNC. Arrow connecting on KP. Again, Cracker Chill will save, but Reaper sight out. Now the Ravage does connect on all 4 heroes in the mid lane. They jump in, but Febby, he got rolled as he blinked in, so he got no echo off. Now Dreamer Cell just going to turn around. He'll lose 1 life. Gabby's going to go for the fight. Soulbind is there onto 2. He's trying to burst down that Beastmaster, but a great cold embrace from Kenscute, and now Dreamer Cell rushes onto the PA. And Dream Missile does harvest March's soul. And boom. Oh, John, it would have been such a big echo. In fact, he didn't even have echo. Why did he blink in?
Just to break up the fight, perhaps? Scared him off? It doesn't pay off, and you do find Dreamo Cell. It's just that's just his reincarnation, so the Aegis is still up and running. If this lasts long enough, he might end up with 3 lives once more, but Boom do pull back. They don't want to push their luck.
Well, nice block though. Febby does get a great fish around. Makoto is blocked up in there, or maybe he's not. He found a little gap. KP gonna be in trouble. Arrow connects as well. Gabby jumping in, but not quite finding the target he wants. Makoto, it'll be fine. He'll just walk out of there. You do have Raw back up in about 5 seconds. Boom. They're going to continue posturing around this mid lane. Seemingly not much to be afraid about here for Boom, but eventually they do decide we'll just back off now. No need to force anything.
Yeah, it's they've got the, I believe, Silver Edge up in Dreamo Cell, so they've got a way to break through the PA. Although they do lose the Aegis, it does expire. Gonna have to be slightly careful there.
Going to be out. They have caught out Armel and the Prophet. That's a big issue here for Armel. Going down. Sprout is there with the TP, but they have the axes. And you know, John, this mid Prophet, it's not working out great.
No, it's really not. And with this kind of build, he does have some pickoff. Oh.
Top lane. Well, they found there is Makoto, but he just heals up all the way to full HP with Ghost Shroud. He has the Reaper's Sight. Gabby trying to BKB and get out of there. Dream Assault right behind him. TP is out, but there's the curse from Kesku, just perfect. And they taunt in front of him.
Oh, man.
Fine. Still nice vision from Bebby. That actually blocks him in. Gabby can't blink out of there. Oh no.
Oh boy.
And that is another harvest for Dreamer Cell.
我是一个没有感情的。
Dreamer Cell is dancing his way to the top creep wave.
This is just not going great for TNC. Febby had to pop his slam there earlier on Mikado, and they don't even find that kill. So they don't have the Echo Slam. They do have the Ravage. Not the time for TNC to try to find fights. They need to pull back, farm up a bit more. If Boom is going to force a tower out like this tier 2 top, even if it's the last outer tower, without that slam, I don't know if you have enough damage to burn through 2 lives of Dreamo Cell.
Yeah, it's looking quite doubtful. I mean, he hasn't gone for any kind of tanky build right now on that Rage King, but he is slowly going to start working towards the AC. Fairly standard stuff for the Wraith King. We'll just pressure that top tier 2 tower.
Radiant's top tower
I just don't see them doing anything about it. He's literally just going to take it for free. No contention.
They're just trying to push out the bot lane. You see Armel again doing nature profitings, but they've got the TPs in. They actually want to fight this.
has fallen.
You've got Reaper Sight on cooldown right now, so Makoto won't have it for another 30 seconds. Hyde trying to get in there onto KP. Bebby right by his side, but doesn't have Echo. They definitely don't really want to fight on the side of TNC right now, but a curse will come out. It's Kesku again with the Meteor Hammer to stun him up. Now the follow-up arrow. KP falling low. Nobody jumping in to help, but that's a great 3-man Fisher. Still with no Echo. You can't turn this one around. KP will not expend the Ravage just for this. He will die with it. And Makoto is waiting for his Reaper Sight. And there it is.
Oh man. Yeah, it's not looking great still for TNC. They're bleeding out heroes one by one. They haven't been really able to pressure too many towers as well. Like Armel split pushing fine. It's not translating to any real objectives, and Dream Assault just goes up to the tier 3s by himself.
Why not? How do you kill him? He's just way too difficult to deal with right now. He's got that Hyperstone as well, so he's attacking very, very quickly. Fisher out from Febby, not really going to help the cause too much. They will just lose their mid barracks. I guess at least Gabby finds the dominant creep from FBZ, but now Silver Edge forcing out the BKB. Ooh. I love that from Dream Assault. Like, he knows his job's done in the mid lane, but he just goes in, forces a BKB charge out of Gabby, and now with that BKB on cooldown, you go for a bot lane. They can't fight.
Yeah, you still have Reincarnation up. You got basically everything you want in terms of control up and running, although they will punish KP. Armel.
Yeah, he's been caught out. He's trying his best to try and make sure his team doesn't have to try and defend high ground again. Hyde will go ahead and take that kill for himself. It's the only play he had. You can't really do much else. You were going to lose that bot racks as well had he not pushed out the top lane. It's just unfortunate he does get killed off in the process.
Yeah, there's really not much he can do to escape. He doesn't build anything like the Shadow Blade. So once he's caught, he's caught.
Okay, so March has got an idea. What if I make an ink portrait of the Skeleton King? Maybe that'll work. If we don't have a carry strong enough, we'll just take their carry.
I guess that works. We'll see how effective that is, really. We have seen this item pickup every now and again in the Grimstroke. So, you'd better hope that Dreamo Cell hurts himself more than he would other people.
You know what though? There are better options even apart from that Skeleton King. Like even just taking the Necrophos, you do get the Heartstopper aura, so you can just have that going. Even the Beastmaster, you can still hit aura, but Dreamer Cell getting jumped on. There's a big stun with that Ink Swell. Gabby jumps in, takes down one life of Dreamer Cell. He'll come back. Now a huge ravage out from KB. The Echo there from Febby. They do blow up Dreamersaur and Kescute on the Wyvern. He'll go down. Now Makoto trapped between a rock and a hard place. He'll go down as well to Febby on the Earthshaker. And well, Hyde, he does manage to get out of there on the Mirana, or does he? Febby. Very, very close, but no cigar. Still a great team fight for TNC, and now they can go and try and clean up a Roshan.
Yeah, it's going to be straightforward for TNC. Biggest issue for Boom was the fact that they could not get the Winter's Curse off. That just ruined their entire counter fight, and now going to have that Aegis and Cheese makes it a bit more complicated for Boom to try to close this game out.
That it does. Gabby, the one with the 2 lives now, so both cores, or both cores ones, can survive twice. Starting to get to that point where Gabby is hitting very, very hard. I thought he might try to finish off the Abyssal Blade first, but it looks like he is going to try and just get the Satanic up first. Which I actually can't blame him for, because the Satanic does have so much more turn potential. Oh, Kescute doesn't see Gabby in that blur and just gets destroyed. No Inkswell necessary.
Yeah, again, a lot of Boom's initiation now is going to have to rely on the Winter's Curse. They don't have wide AoE spells. It's all single target, except for the Winter's Curse. They need to either find a pick-off with a Roar, or have TNC in a bad spot and have them kill off themselves.
Nice Orchid there onto the Mirana High. He's just stuck, but he does leap away. That's a support Mirana, unless... No crit.
Ooh.
That's concerning though, right? It's a support Mirana, you have 3 heroes, you have the Orchid, it just doesn't end up being enough. And you could make the argument that Crimson Guard does really save the day for that Mirana, as it blocks out so much damage from Gabby. Now Dreamersaur gonna run up, sees KP, does use the Silver Edge on the Tide Hunter. No Kraken Shell now. With that arrow, they do secure a very easy kill. Another
Gabby?
harvest there, and March gonna be in trouble as well, getting jumped on. He will be able to get out. Gabby, however, who's he going on? F being Z will be able to clear up the Aegis. There is an ink portrait there, the Skeleton King, but it doesn't do much, and now the arrow onto Gabby with the Reaper sign. Send him to the graveyard. And respawn timer on the PA gun, he's gonna have to buy back surely.
Yeah, it's a great set of pickoffs for Boom. They find the Aegis carrier. You're not gonna have to deal with that second life anymore. They clean up the Tide. There are still things to worry about into the high ground. They still have the Echo Slam. They still have the Ravage when the Tide's back up. So Boom has to be careful with their spacing. They cannot allow themselves to be jumped like they were last time.
No, they cannot. They may not have many options though. See, do they expend the buyback? KP is going to try and delay things. So now Winter's Curse is going to be there on March, but there's the Ravage. It does connect onto 4 heroes. Still it does nothing. There's no real follow-up to it. Kescute is going to fall low, but they can't really finish the job. And now the arrow. Hyde, he does connect onto Armel. A great fish of Febby. No!
What? The Radiance burn!
The blink was cancelled. The Radiance from Dreamersaur. Now KP's going to die. Oh, Febby, he jumps in, but it's too late. Oh, he's gonna die for his sins. So he can try and make a play here on Makoto, but he's gone. Soulbind is there. Gabby, he does come back with a buyback. They all buy back. Gabby will get Makoto and now should be able to find the Skeleton King. They do dodge out that arrow. That's his first life. And they will find the second as well. But that cost them 4 buybacks. That 1 kill or 2 kills on the Necrophos and Skeleton King at the end. It's a real shame when that happens.
Yeah, it's something that can slip your mind, you know, in the middle of it, and it's going to be a bit harder for TNC to commit to a lot more now. They don't have the leeway of having buybacks, so when they go for these objectives, it's kind of an all-in. Looks like they will want to pressure the tier 2 mid. They should be able to take it, as you don't really have much from Boom to defend, so they can find this objective at least.
Do they though? They get a tier 2 tower, that's great and all, but you'd hope for a bit more out of that.
That's the best you can get though. Like the respawns aren't too long. You've also got FBZ who was trying to cut that creep wave, which wouldn't have lasted long anyway in March.
Gonna get roared up, those Beastmaster creeps. Hit hard, but they'll clear him out. Gabby will take the rest. FBZ does get his way out of there. You don't mind really committing the roar at this stage of the game either. Like the cooldown really isn't that long.
Nah. It's worthwhile just to stall out TNC, and you've got everyone from Boom's side respawning now. They don't quite have buybacks. In fact, there are no buybacks in the map beyond our Melts NP. So perhaps work on farming that up, at least on Dreamosol, before they end up committing anything big, although they are smoked up.
They have the low ground. BZ gonna send a Hawk up, does get broken here from KB. Gets the ensnare off. Arrow, probably not gonna land. Now I'm gonna posture around that Roshan pit for a little bit here, Boom Esports, but there is no Roshan for quite a while. He could have tried for Armel down at the bot lane, but he is out of there now. And on the bright side, all this time that has been made does allow Dreamosol to buy out his full BKB now. And it's going to be a 10-second charge on that BKB. You know, we're 36 minutes into the game.
Oh.
Really game-changing and all. Gabby can't afford to get hit like this. Nice fisher out there from Febby. We've blocked them out. That Ink Portrait though, look how much damage it's doing. It's critting for over 1k right now. That Ink Portrait is scarier than the actual hero. And eventually it will die. It does take a substantial amount of damage. Boom will have to find another way into this team fight.
Yeah, you are seeing TNC farm up fairly well as well. They've turned that advantage just a bit lower to 4 to 5k, although Gabby again just being a bit forward.
They can afford to do this though, because you look at top lane and Armel is just split pushing again. Dreamosol gonna TP up. He knows he needs to defend this, and now TNC will definitely be willing to take a team fight. Problem is they're constantly being scouted out by Hawks. Don't exactly have the highest cooldown for those Hawks either. Have this permanent vision essentially from FBZ. Eventually Dreamosol, he's going to be able to work his way back down towards his team. For now, John, tier 4 items are to be found from both teams before we see anything else, I think.
Yeah, you might as well. Is that time, gives you a nice little boost. Have to say, Febby finding that relic would be nice. Does look like it's coming out in the courier, so a little bit more damage, a little bit more stun time coming out on Febby, and that's always useful to have.
Oh, it's great on Earthshaker. 25% debuff time. It's pretty darn nice. Smoke up here from Boom with the Moonlight. Gonna spot out KP. There is a sentry ward already down, so they can't really run too far forward, but Makoto now gonna show himself. March gets cursed up. They want to get rid of that Grimstroke, but KP does throw out the Ravage. Arrow does connect, however. The team fight does begin. Dreamosol, he uses his BKB here. Soulbine's gonna come out, but they don't really initiate all the way. They just weren't feeling quite comfortable about that one. And even though the Ravage was expended, they just want to try and reset and come back in. Maybe just wait out that BKB for Dreamosol before you try again.
Yeah, and that was off the back of Febby having a good block with a Fissure. Just broke up the fight. They couldn't reach the Grimstroke before the illusion came out, and they were starting to clump up, so they did not want to get slammed. Just a lot of cautious play coming out from Boom.
Thing is, while all this is happening, Mel finds another tower. Just down at that bot lane, he finds the final tier 2 tower. Hyde will TP in to try and get that wave pushed out again. And now you have a Scythe device up on Mel, and that's a big item to have. As well as that, even the blink on KP is available. We'll smoke up. BZ, be a nice target to go for. They haven't spotted him quite yet, and now the Moonlight Shadow is going to make it hard to find anyone. Hyde walks right by them. Gabby, get back to farming some Ancients. No vision on the side of TNC right now. Gonna run back into FBZ, who breaks the smoke. They're grouped up. Winter's Curse.
Oh.
It's gonna be straight on top of that Grimstroke. It's a great opening, and now the triple stop with the Meteor Hammer. The Reaper Scythe as well. They just get blown up. Gabby, yeah, he just BKB TP's up. He's not bothering with this. KB may not be so lucky to know he is Hyde. Wasn't quick enough with the arrow.
Radiant's top tower is
But just 2 supports being removed from the game. No buybacks available on either. Boom Esports, they have a great opening to go high ground again.
Yeah, it is going to be a lot easier without that illusion coming out onto Dreamocell, so you don't have to deal with the Raid King up himself. This should allow them to at least clear out those bot racks, which have been exposed. They do have to worry about the Ravage. The Slam will be up when Febi's back as well, so there are some tools still available for TNC.
Sure. But are they going to have those tools in time? There's only 1 Rax left. No tier 2 tower defending that Rax. So it's an open tier 3 here for Boom Esports to go after. TNC, they've got to fight. Looks like the Grimstroke will have enough gold. KP blinks in, finds a 5-man Ravage, but Cabby can't actually burst anyone fast enough. The Ghost Scepters are enough. Now the Royal Cabby, he's in big trouble. They're trying to focus him down with the Satanic. Will help him survive. He gets 1 kill onto Dreamocell. Trying to go on Makoto. He'll go swarm up as well. Now the Scythe Divine. Dreamocell, he does end up dying. They also found FBZ. The curse is finally there, but it will not matter. They are going to find a 3rd in the form of Makoto. All 3 cores will go down for Boom. And Bebby is still trying to find another. Mel TP's in a bit short. If they have a Roshan up, TNC will try to make a comeback with this Roshan.
Can't allow that to go if you're Boom. The Ravage is down, the Slam is down. This is a pretty good time to go in there. It's just that they can't. And now that's going to be a refresh shard up for TNC. Potentially double Ravage. And that's just... it's just going to give them so much more to play with, and Boom. They're losing a lot of ground. They've lost their gold advantage. It's just 3k now. They can push really fast with Armel's build.
That they will.
middle tower is under attack.
Tier 3 tower going to go down. Still no buybacks being expended. There's Dreamocell, he will commit his. You're going to need more than that though. They aren't going to back off just for 1 Skeleton King. Dreamocell, if you die right now, it's going to be disaster for Boom Esports. Arrow is going to come out, connect on Gabby, he's in trouble, but Fisher does come in. Now that Ink Portrait again doing a lot of damage. That Cold Embrace is going to save the day for Dreamocell. But not for the mid-range, which is still going down. Another great arrow out from Hyde. Where did he go? He does just back off. You have Makoto up in 5 seconds. Mel, Winter's Curse, gonna get caught out. Gabby's still around with that Aegis. He might just turn around here. Dagger's flying out with the Meteor Hammer. KP waiting for the first Ravage. Still 20 seconds away. He'll try onto the Mirana though. Roar is there from FBZ. Just stopping Gabby through the BKB, but now he'll try again onto Hyde. Maybe just have to give up on that one though. Hyde is just not dying. All these daggers being thrown out, not really doing too much either. No crits. And Boom Esports do manage to at least hold on to that secondary racks in the mid lane.
Yeah, it's getting tricky for Boom to get into these fights. TNC is finding the openings and starting to punish Boom's movement. Boom needs to land a really big Winter's Curse. This is the win condition. It's all about Kescute finding the targets, getting the chain stunts off. If not, you're looking at a Ravage, you're looking at an Echo Slam flying out, and Boom just gets squashed as 5. There's just no way for them to stop that from happening.
Well, the next team fight's going to be extremely hard for Boom. We can all agree on that. You already have the first Ravage up now for KP. That was the only reason I think that TNC did not take that fight in that mid lane just a minute ago. Because they had about 20 seconds left of the first Ravage and you weren't going to refresh just for one. So now TNC looking for a smoke, they will commit. Back down to that mid lane, you still have the Aegis, you still have the cheese. Of course, if they kill Dream Missile, he is gone. That'll be a dieback on him and Dream Missile might show himself. Do it. Dangerous, he does actually break the smoke, so Dream Missile, perfect timing there. Still TNC should be more than happy to just keep going forward into a huge team fight, but it looks like they may opt to smoke again. They actually do decide to back off.
It's a bit tricky for both sides. TNC, even if they're ahead.
Dude.
Oh.
How far? Where might Shadow gonna be there? Dream Missile baiting them in. Gabby comes in as well. They have Roar, but they won't commit yet. Dream Missile just stuns and runs away. Still Gabby looking for a target. KP waiting in the tree line, but Dream Missile wants to take that tide out first if he can. Nice Fisher, does catch out Hyde. Now they jump in, of course, again back onto Dream Missile. They got that ink portrait, and now the Ravage does come out. There's one. KP holding, doesn't throw the second one out yet. Dream Missile is very low and does die for the first time. Fisher is there on Makoto. Dream Missile does pop the BKB, but Gabby is not done. He keeps rushing forward, trying to get a kill onto Makoto. There's a curse up from KezQ onto that Tide Hunter. It's not going to do too much yet, but they're keeping him stunned up. Don't let him ravage again. They are still going after Makoto, however. Ghost Shroud will save him. Dream Missile, are you coming back into this team fight? Not quite yet. They're just waiting on the high ground. Another big ravage. Makoto's still not dead. Now Febby jumps into the Echo. It doesn't do too much, but they do finally kill off Makoto. Febby is low, but it looks like Boom Esports are unwilling to chase for the kill. They do have a buyback available on Makoto if they so wish to try and turn. Dream Missile has Reincarnate back up. Satanic committed. We'll go up back. Oh, in fact, it wasn't committed. It was just his natural life steal. But now he probably will commit it as he has to jump in and heal himself up a little bit. Still, he is falling very, very low now. May have to commit the Aegis. Dream Missile also falling low, and the Aegis does expire. Now Gabby cannot afford to die. Dream Missile so close, but Armel gets a sprout off on the Skeleton King, not allowing that right click damage to come out. Still they chase Hyde. There with the Star connects the arrow as well. Gabby's in trouble. He will go down. He does have buyback gold. He'll be fine.
It happens a lot of time where TNC, they drag out that fight, they don't find the objectives. And boom, this gives them an opportunity to go back outside a map, shove out a lane. Maybe they just commit to the Divine on Dream Missile. He's got it queued up. If the fights last long enough, he's going to be alive anyway, multiple times. So there is value there. You worry about the damage output that the Dark Portrait can do, though. That is something Boom has to really be careful about if that Divine does come flying in.
I don't know about the Divine. I really don't. Like, you're going to give that Ink Portrait a Divine Rapier as well? It seems like a bad idea. But Dream Missile, he just wants to be able to burst people down. He feels like his DPS is not high enough as is. And in all fairness, once he does have the Divine, if he gets a crit, that is almost a guaranteed kill. Pretty much on anybody on the map right now, apart from KP. We'll see Armel. He does go into the mid barracks with those treants, and a Divine has been bought out by the Skeleton King. Dream Missile brings it out on the Courier.
Oh, and double damage.
Oh boy. Oh, so auto attack's doing almost 1,000 damage now without crit. How much he crits for? Still hit something. 2.6. Not bad, not bad. Pretty decent damage.
That is more than decent in my eyes. I think right now, Boom, if they actually just fight in the Roche, get the Ags onto their Raid King, I think they've secured themselves a very long stall at the very least. It's just that the Roche, we've still got to wait for it to come up. And TNC, they've got the Slam and Ravage back up and running. So it's not the safest fight in that pit anymore.
Armel finds a courier, may have given himself away though. Oh, Raw and Winter's Curse at the same time. Still, they should be able to secure Armel, and they do. Reaper's Sight gonna come in, Armel will die, but he has buyback. Still, if Boom Esports can get very lucky and find an early Roche, they would be very happy with themselves right now, but we're gonna find that in 7 seconds when it does come up. See how lucky Boom is today. And it is... Oh, that's lucky. 25 seconds for the next Roshan.
Oh yeah, that is going to be very important for Boom. Again, they blew a lot of gold on Dreamocell, and they're taking a massive risk with that Divine. They need the Aegis, and the Ags, and the Cheese. They need all of it to go up here and just turn this fight. It's been... Even the net worth, Mike, 1k advantage for TNC at this time doesn't matter. It's dead even so far.
Brought out the Roshan as well, they know. This Roshan's so perfect because you can force out the buyback from Armel without even really putting yourself at risk. And Dreamcell's critiquing for 2.4k right now. This Roshan's not going to take very long at this rate. Ouch. Courier gonna scout out. See you, Courier. Back to the grave for you. They're gonna try and fight this KP. Does have his blink cancelled there by Makoto. Roshan, so close. Nobody's in there. Dreamcell's gonna be able to pick up everything. Aegis still on.
Oh,
Aegis is still on the deck.
No. It's there. The Ags is still there. Dreamcell's struggling with his inventory.
Oh, he's got the refresher shot there as well.
Pick it up. You gotta pick it up. KP's gonna go take it.
Oh, what a pause timing. This is the most
BKB. Just BKB Dreamcell.
He has to, but that Ravage is coming.
Oh.
It's coming.
That's enough time, though. I think that's enough time. This pause is hurting TNC a bit more because Dreamcell's gonna be alive.
Don't turn around right now, Dreamcell. Just press BKB. You don't want to see what's behind you right now.
Do it. Drop the wand! BKB, drop the wand!
That's the obvious choice. You just drop the wand, pick up the ads, use the ads, then get the refresher shot. That's the best way to do it. It's hard. Obviously, like, he's in the middle of the team fight right now, John. It's hard to think that fast. He should know now. I mean, in some weird way, that pause is kind of lucky because Dreamcell gets to think about what's happening. But for TNC, it is very unfortunate timing.
Yeah.
For sure. Because they would have gotten that Ravage, which meant that maybe you could have stolen the Ags refresher.
Yeah, there we go. Let's see how this falls out.
Ready? See how it does, Dreamers.
Come on.
Get no! He does refresh the Ravage. Does also have the axe, I believe. In fact, no, he does. It is the Wraith King. Ravage has been committed by KP. Dreamers are going to chase him down. Should be able to find the kill, but now Gabby trying on Makoto. Winter's Curse comes out. Makoto still surviving throughout all this. And now the arrow comes out. Gabby, he is stunned right now. But a nice side device. Armel protecting his teammate. They'll turn around. They are going to find the reincarnation life. But Gabby's still in trouble. He's trying to blink strike out of there. He still has his own BKB. Dreamcell would love to keep going, but from Febby, he does cop the arrow. They are still in the chase, however. Hyde is keeping up vision. Febby will die. FBC, Raw is back up. That's how long this team fight's been going. He gets the PA with that Raw. Arrow blocked by KT. He'll take the arrow for his teammates. Bishop is gonna be there. Oh my. And if they kill Dreamcell, they've got so many lives to get through. That's the problem. And with that Aghanim Scepter, Dreamcell can TP out with the reincarnated life from the ads and actually keep the Divine in base.
Yeah. No way this goes wrong for Boom unless they mess up some sort of timing, but that's Mega Creeps.
That is Megas. There it is. Satanic will come on Arm Mill. They've got to go for this fight, I think. Boom, they're not backing off. If you are Boom, you just want to finish this right here, right now. Dream Assault. Yeah, he's just going to focus on objectives. KP does not have a Ravage. Sight Device. Gabby will jump in straight into that Skeleton King. Maybe finds one life, but no lucky crits coming out for him. Now, no, still no crits coming out. Dream Assault survives, and now the roar comes out. Gaben? What do you mean? Febby gets the Echo. It's a big one, but you've got so many lives in the Wraith King. There's no follow-up to it. PA will jump in again, still not critting. Dream Assault just surviving throughout all of it. Now gets a few. Dream Assault will lose his Aegis. One more life, and then you've got to cancel the TP to get that Rapier. But that Ancient is still exposed right now. They do Sight Device in. So he is falling low. He BKBs. Still back to the Ancient, but Gabby jumps in. He eats the cheese now. Surviving. Roar out on the PA. KP with the Ravage does connect. Now the Wraith King is in trouble. Very, very low. But the Cold Embrace will save. Gabby still trying to go back onto that Skeleton King. They have the control.
Oh no.
Go down. Now the one life left. Does he TP or does he fight? He fights. He finds Gabby with the crit. He thinks about TPing. He will die, but he is back again with the reincarnation. The man never dies. The one true king will always survive.
Oh my god.
It's the Arcana, John. It's the Arcana.
Oh, wow. What a match to start the series. Boom. A lot of back and forth. TNC, this is the best they've looked so far. Not enough. Boom.
Dire team ban. Seconds remaining. Radiant team ban.
No.
Radiant team ban. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Game of what's to be an amazing best of 2 between Boom Esports and TNC Predator. It is MLP, Dota, and John X5. John, still shaking, sir. Still shaking after that game. You can see the vape liquid behind me. I've smoked the room up. That's how stressed out I was after that game, sir. It isn't my lighting, I'll tell you that. How are you feeling, sir?
Oh, I'm still kind of speechless about how that one ended up. It was on the edge from the Roche pit into the high ground. Dreamo Cell, I was yelling at him to pick up the items. And at the end, like, the fact that he actually had us reincarnate after the Ag's life, oh, that was so on the edge to close out that match, but it paid off. And TNC, that was the best they've looked throughout the past few months for us. You know, we watched them a lot in Birmingham. We didn't see them in the previous league, the online league that they beat Boom in, but yesterday it wasn't the greatest showing as well. That was the best we've seen TNC, and Boom still finds their number. So there has to be something that comes out from TNC. Fans, they could have the opportunity for that Ricky for Gabby. And again, that's something we've seen them have a lot of success with. Maybe they just need to go back to that.
I think what Boom need to do, though, Dreamcell needs to go out and buy himself a lottery ticket, John. Because Gabby, at the end of that last team fight, how many times did Gabby hit that Skeleton King? Not one crit. Not one crit at the end. He must have hit him it was at least 10 times.
Yeah.
Just not getting lucky enough to hit the coup de grace, excuse me, not coup. It is coup de grace. Oh, anyway, we are into a new draft. Boom Esports versus TNC. Boom will take a 1-0 lead against TNC for now, but as we could see from that first game, TNC are not here to play around. They are definitely trying to at least draw out this series now. And judging from that Game 1 performance, they could easily do so. Perhaps a few draft changes, though. I've got to say, Armel at the end of the game looked amazing, right? He was throwing out the hexes constantly. He was buying so much space for TNC. But the hero itself didn't really feel like an Armel hero. He couldn't go in there and really help out Gabby. All he could do is sight the bias. He'd throw out a sprout here and there. Yeah, he was hitting pretty hard. Ultimately, his job seemed to be to just keep creating space for the PA. And I don't know, I personally would like to see Armel on a hero where he can actually just jump in and help out, right? Like, we're used to seeing Armel on these kind of heroes like TA, who's just happy to start brawling. You'd prefer to see him on something like that, I think, going into Game 2.
Yeah, I think that's something that TNT does play around with, right? Armel is their tempo setter, and there's only so much an NP can set the tempo with beyond split pushing, so if they give him a hero with more presence, that might help their cause. TNC, though, start off with that Grimstroke. We saw a lot of work coming out from March with that Dark Portrait Illusion. It was causing so many issues for Boom earlier on. So if Boom reaches that point with a very farmed core, you've still got March, and if you can find the goal to get that Ags, you're going to have that option available.
By the way, in case you hadn't noticed, John, Febby's gone, Tim's is back.
Oh.
Yeah, Tim's was sitting there but behind the screen just seething, wanting to be there. That was a Tim's game, right? If you wanted Tim's in any game, that was the game for him to be involved in. But he is back now. We do see Boom Esports after the Grimstreak pick, they do go into the Lone Druid. So that's a very, very different kind of first pick. We haven't seen that at all. Well, from yesterday anyway, from all those games we saw yesterday, not one Lone Druid pick. It does come out for the first time today, and they will follow up the clockwork.
Yeah, I think that's a great start for Boom. The clock is something they pick up a lot. They do tend to toss it to hide, but every now and again they give it to FBZ. So you've got that flexibility in the posterior 4 clock. The LD though, I think really ties into Boom's strength, right? You're going to be pushing fast. You're going to be fighting fast if you wanted to. It can be a farm-heavy hero if you play it that way, but based on how Boom has been running, I don't think they're going to take too long to bring that LD to the front. So it's a solid start for Boom. They've got great ways to clear the objectives. TNC, they need a comfort pick to come out. The Brewmaster's available if they want it for KP. I think that could be pretty disruptive.
Could be. You've also still got the Earthshaker there for Tim's right now that hasn't been banned out. It's been a very high priority pick, but that would reveal both your supports straight off the bat. I don't think it would be too surprising though for Boom Esports anyway, right? Like you'd almost expect that Earthshaker to come out now. The only thing I'd see is being a problem here for that Earthshaker is you've got a clockwork. And Battery Assault just completely ruins Earthshaker. His attack and his spell animations are way too long. Battery Assault will cancel Fisher over and over again. They do not care. It is Tim's on the Earthshaker. He will take it. But that is their support duo being opened up straight off the bat.
And that's going to leave them vulnerable to something sneaky coming out. Maybe for the mid lane here, for Mikoto, could expect something a bit slippery. Something the Shaker and Grimstroke don't punish. So that does leave TNC slightly vulnerable as the draft goes on. We mention this every time we see a support duo first, but that's just the way it goes. Still, TNC, they always pick the Shaker up. We know Tim's does fantastic work with it. Febby was doing a great job as well. It's just there was that one moment where it whiffed in the bot lane that really comes to mind. So hopefully you're not going to have that.
It happens, right?
It happens,
Literally
right?
every Dota player has done that. And if somebody tells me they have never whiffed an Echo Slam, I can't believe you. You're a liar. It's happened to every single person. Of course, this is a pro match, but sometimes you forget the radiance is there, and your blink goes on cooldown for 3 seconds. You just don't notice. Still, final bans now coming out. TNC Predator, they ban out the Lich. Boom Esports will respond with a Void ban, which is very interesting. We haven't had the pleasure of seeing the Faceless Void as of yet throughout this BTS Pro Series Season 2. But more importantly, Boom Esports now with their third pickup. I do believe that is going to be a pos 4 clock, by the way.
Yeah.
I just say, I think, and I always tell you this, but pos 4 clock, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated supports you could have. I think it's unbelievably strong. But we'll see. We'll see what Boom Esports thinks with this third pickup now. We should be seeing a pos 5 pick. Do they go into the Wyvern again? We did see Kescute. He was having a great old time on that Wyvern. Doing so much work for his team.
That could work out. I think that gives them a lot of great team fight. The Clockwork's not going to give you that much team fight, right? It goes in, it focuses on a single target. Maybe it splits up the fight. But the Winter Wyvern does give you a lot better of a clump up and a lot better control in a wide area. So they were looking for a pos 5 there. I wouldn't blame them for that. They go with the AA instead, which is great with the clock, right? You hook in, you cogs up, easy target for the AA to follow into. Allows them to not worry about sustain. So this takes away a lot of heroes for TNC. Even something like the Troll is not gonna shine too well up against an AA. Just a great pick for Boom. Plays into their aggression nicely. So I am liking Boom's opening a lot more. I think it plays to their strengths a lot more. And TNC, yeah, they've got the Shaker for Tim's. They need a lot more to come out here.
That they do. They do have their third pickup now. Arguably probably going to be the KP hero to pop out. He had a great time performance last game, doing so much work, but It has been banned out. You brought up the Brewmaster though. Now they go for the flex pick and the Void Spirit. We have seen that quite a few times in the off lane. We've seen it in the mid lane. I believe you and I, we've even casted it in the safe lane at some point. So it can really go anywhere. I would assume it's going to be the off lane hero, but it's not really something I think of when I think of KP.
Yeah.
He does tend to enjoy those beefier kind of off lanes that, again, just like to create havoc in the fights. And Void Spirit, not really exactly one of those heroes.
No, it isn't, but I believe KP has played it for TNC a couple of times.
He has.
So it's a viable option there. Yeah, it's a viable option there. How much you can get is a different question. It's quite strong with Grimstroke though, right? You jump in, you've got the Inkspell on, very easy follow-up, very easy way to find a kill. So it's potent in that sense. It gives TNC some early pacing to play around with. Once you hit 6, you should be able to give the Shaker some time to farm the Blink, and mentioned that when the Shaker is picked up, but pause for a Shaker does need space to find a farm for a Blink. So the Void Spirit should enable that, and that is certainly still playing into what TNC wants. Boom, though, they're not kidding around. It's out, very flexible pick, right? You don't have the mid laner or the off laner quite set in. It gives them great push. So you've got the LD and the DK who can just melt these towers fast. I think Boom wants to pull that fast pace back for game 2.
I can't blame them. And I gotta say, I love that DK pick coming out. Lone Druid DK is a devastating amount of push that can be there. Not to mention, like, you've got these two tanky frontliners now in the Spirit Bear and the DK. It can make it very, very tough to go into those backlines where you're gonna try and find that ancient apparition, right? If you're this Void Spirit, you're going after the Lone Druid himself, you're going after the AA, you're trying to burst those down, and then go on to something like the DK a bit later on. But TNC now, they have a pick that can deal with both the Lone Druid and the DK. The Necrophos.
I'm a bit iffy in that one. It's great burst and control, right, for those two heroes. But your sustain is not there. AA just takes it away.
Right.
You're not going to be healing up in these fights, so the durability of the Necrophos, I'm not sure if it's going to be there, but in terms of control and burst, it helps out massively in pinning down one of these two heroes. I think that is still giving Boom a lot more to play with. Like, they've got last pick. TNC has to close this draft out, so they're going to reveal for us if the Void Spirit's off or mid with his last pick. The last pick should be a Gabby hero. I mean, the Riki might make an appearance if they wanted it to. You've got a pretty solid lineup for it. Whether or not you can eat through the LD or the DK with the Riki though early on, probably not. So there's going to be a bit of a
The Riki is nice against the LD though, right? You can just blink onto the actual Lone Druid and just burst him down, ignore the bear altogether. It's something we've seen a lot being picked into the Lone Druid. If there's ever been a time to take it, it's probably now. Not necessarily great up against the DK, but you have the Necrophos for that, so you're not too worried about that side of things. And back on the point of the AA versus Necrophos, I think the idea from TNC is that the Void Spirit will take care of that support AA straight off the bat. Question whether he even gets to that point, and whoa, we have a Terrorblade popping out for TNC. Interesting pick. Very reliant on that Metamorphosis. We go over this every time, but if you die, you can't buy back because you don't do anything. Unless you haven't used the meta, and every time that meta's off, you just can't do anything. You're just kind of sitting there farming instead.
We've seen Gabby play that hero a lot, of course. I love the counter up from Boom. Pugna, it ruins Necrophos. It ruins Terrorblade. You need to build a fast BKB on Gabby, and the Necrophos' sustain works against it. Boom, again, tying up their draft in a magnificent fashion. You've got push on all 3 cores. You've got the answer to all 2 big cores from TNC. TNC has to really play around Gabby. They have to be on point with a Metamorphosis. If not, they're not going to have a map to play in a very short span. Boom will just push you down.
It's going to be a very, very interesting game between these two. Of course, again, TNC, they're going to try and see if they can get a draw going for themselves up against Boom Esports. We hope for. It hasn't been a very good day for TNC thus far, John. They're currently 0-3. Unfortunately for TNC, getting 2-0 by Adroit as well. They definitely don't want to have a day like RR had yesterday, going 4. It definitely is possible right now. Boom, just keep up their performance. Of course, if you're unaware, after this series, we still have 2 more series coming up. Boom Esports will be back to fight GeekFam. Our final series of the night will be Execration versus Signal Ultra. But for now, these 2 big teams are up for us, and we'll focus on these guys.
Yeah, it is going to be the Armel Void Spirit as well. So KP is on Necrophos, just to act as a slowing down factor for Dreams. I don't think this is going to hurt the Lone Druid too much. He's going to be playing with a bear anyway, right? It's going to be up front. Still going to find the last hits. KP should be able to sustain himself though, and we'll see just how much TNC can get out from their draft.
Mid Void Spirit Armel, we've seen him on this hero before, and he does tend to make a lot of space for the team from this kind of hero. Very, very aggressive on this Void Spirit from the previous experiences. Entirely, it's not the easiest of lanes up against the Pugna.
Yeah, it really isn't, and well, TNC, I think there's just a lot of timing here that needs to come out. Like, Armel definitely on the Void Spirit should have an early start. We've just seen him do this a lot. My biggest concern is KP in the front and Gabby's farm. I don't know if Gabby will have the space he needs to find that farm with this kind of lineup. It's just a map. You're gonna lose your tier 1s fairly quickly. I think by the 10 to 15 mark, you're probably looking at two tier 1s gone, just from having the DK, LD, and Pugna. They just push way too fast.
That's the problem. That's the real issue here for Gabby. Like, you're gonna buy a few Wraith Bands, you're gonna rotate into the jungle, but Boom Esports, they're going to try and take that jungle away from you very quickly. You don't really want to be locked in to a portion of the map if you are a Terrorblade. You are very, very reliant on that jungle farm. Yes, John?
They actually switch it out. Dreamocell has a shared tangos. He's going down mid.
Oh, okay.
They want the Pugna to match up against KP, I suppose. Just keep that counter, or on the TB, because that's never fun. You're gonna be disarmed.
Either way, you're still happy if you're Boom Esports.
Yeah, for sure. This is just gonna be really hard for TNC to find the farm in that lane, regardless. Like Dreamocell, sure, you know, the Void Spirit hits hard. It can really annoy you, but you don't care. You've got a bear. Just sit back, let the bear dude work, respawn it, and heal it up if it drops low, but that's it.
We'll have the go-ahead. See where Makoto does head to, and for now he's having to think about it. FBZ is going to go up that top lane. And that's the thing, right? Whether you have the Pugna, whether you have the DK, that Gabby has a hard time no matter what. Because even if you don't have the Decrepify there, you have the Breathe Fire to just lower his attack down to the point where he won't be able to CS because you'll just deny him every single time. Of course, when he has meta up, it's a different story, but it's such a long cooldown, especially at level 1. It's not really going to be up that often to be able to farm these waves. If they keep up this tri-lane as well from Boom Esports, you got Clockwork AA in one lane. Get a cold feet in CODS, that is game over for whoever is caught.
Yeah. You will need perhaps level 2 to maximize this tri-lane. That can be a bit slow in terms of finding the XP, but it's really potent. I don't think you really need to help Mikado out too much. It is going to be against a Necrophos, and both sides can really just shove the lane I don't think you're going to be too worried about KP finding early farm. You've got tools to deal with any early sustain coming out from them anyway. So if they wanted to play aggressive, they really could. There's nothing stopping them.
KP can be a real nuisance on this Necrophos, let me tell you, John. Played this hero quite a few times, can be very, very frustrating to have to go up against. Do have that natural counter though, Makoto, so Makoto's gonna have his hands full this game. Though I love the item build Makoto's queued up. Dagons. Straight up Dagons.
Yeah.
It works, right? Like you're gonna use it with your Decrepify anyway, but KP goes into Ghost form, you just Dagon.
Yeah. They're not gonna be there. They gone. It's so nice against the Terrorblade as well, right? Like high armor, who cares? You're just gonna burst them down.
The zapping. Might be no fights over the bounty runes. TNC will take the bottom bounty runes for free. Boom Esports will oblige and take the top bounty runes for themselves. And FBZ is indeed going to stay up at that top lane. Dreamer Soul is definitely going to go back down mid. Find it kind of interesting that he keeps the Blightstone on himself on that Lone Druid rather than the Spirit Bear, but at the start you are much stronger than the Bear anyway, so you may as well.
Yeah, it's some situations where you will pull that Bear back. You might as well apply that debuff yourself with your range advantage anyway. For Armel, probably not the hardest lane, and well, if you get rooted up, it's not going to be easy either.
That's the problem though, you've got constant harassment that will come in here from Dreamer Cell. The Armel's job is just to stay safe and keep securing CS, try to get to level 6 or 7 so you can start rotating, find a solo pick off onto this Lone Druid if you feel like you have enough damage. But I think Gabby will need help very, very early on, and I think we can all agree on that. It's just not going to be an easy lane here with FBZ.
Nah.
Then again though, if March can get some nice pulls off this small camp like he already has, it could be, well he didn't even pull, he just got a nice block off, but if you can just keep the equilibrium behind that T1 tower, Gabby should be able to farm fairly nicely, and FBZ should really have no influence.
Yeah, it's really down to denying that EXP on the side of Boom, so March with a pulse has to be pretty on point. Gabby has been playing conservatively though, hasn't really popped the meta just yet, and as long as he doesn't have to, I guess you're gonna be happy in this kind of scenario.
He doesn't need it. Not yet. Bot lane as well, you'll see KP there on the Necrophos, he's going to be up against Makoto. Kescute is going to be there on the Clockwork. Of course, we will also see Tim's around on the Earthshaker, just to get a few levels up and maybe make a rotation down mid. Okay, he doesn't really want to be near the Clockwork because it's just, there's no way you trade farm or trade harass evenly with a Clockwork as an Earthshaker.
Yeah.
Yes, Cute, how dedicated are you, sir? You will give up on the courier snipe for Tim's courier. And I'm kind of intrigued as well whether we will see the Clockwork making rotations or whether Kesku just intends to stick around this bot lane. Because in all honesty, with Cog's battery assault, KP can't really do much. But Kesku's going to try and chase him down right now. There's the battery assault. You only need one to hit, and now the Cogs with Makoto there with the Nether Blast. It's going to be a first blood coming out down the bot lane. He fairy fires, but it's not going to be enough. Makoto does get the kill, and Tim's, all he could do was fish up.
Yeah, it's a great little start for Boom. They're starting to find their foothold there. I think the one thing TNC has going for it is the fact that Gabby's lane is going really well. He's pretty much free farmed here. FBZ is just focusing on his own farm, and they're not really able to apply any meaningful.
Oh, looks like your internet's cutting out on me, John. I'll get you to have a look at that, and hopefully that's fixed up pretty quick. But yeah, Gabby is having a decent time so far, 20-4, or 20-3 on the Terrorblade. Just got to keep that up. I suppose it is perfectly fine for FBZ to just focus on his own farm. wants to get those quick treads and braces into the blink, but now the Inkswell, Gabby trying to chase onto Hyde. The Inkswell won't end up landing thanks to the Dragon Tail there of FBZ. This is back to the farming game for both cores. Armel's having a decent old time in the mid lane as well. Trading farm evenly with Dream Missile, who hasn't really been able to shut down Armel. I mean, this is the whole reason why you had the lone druid there in the first place, is to try and get this man down. But bot lane, Makoto does end up going down. KP ends up securing a kill on the Pugna. Well, that's an important one. This is essentially your position 1 Pugna right now in this safe lane, so KP gonna be happy about that. Makoto just gonna make his way back in though. It's a very, very nice bunch of farm there from those neutral camps. And both the creeps, in fact. Top lane, FBZ, gonna be able to find Gabby on that Terrorblade as well. And this is what we were really talking about. You've got to be very wary if you are the Terrorblade, because you are susceptible to dying like that. And you can't forget, it's not a Clockwork AA combination up at top lane, but you have Dragon Tail Cold Feet, which is almost just as good. You will be able to secure kills on the Terrorblade assuming you do land that combination. It pings, bot lane, Makoto. Locked up, a great fisher out from Tim's. Can you lock him down long enough though? KP is kind of out of mana right now. I don't think they're going to have the damage output. They do burn through some regen, but Makoto, he still has wand charges and the bottle up. Be fine to just keep trading here as Kescu. Gonna go on to KP. Has level 2 battery assault, but doesn't opt to bother trying as Tim's was still around. But now we'll see Hyde rotate down. So he feels safe to leave FBZ up at the top lane by himself. And with Hyde there, you can guarantee kills onto KP. Kind of like this, where you get the battery assault cons. KP trying to run away. They slow him up. He can Ghost Shroud, but that only amplifies the damage. He will end up dying, but now Armel makes a rotation. He is going to find the support Clockwork trade. And luckily for him, because he has the haste rune, he can rotate back mid very, very quickly. You won't really find Hyde though on that AA. Would have been a nice secondary support kill if they could have. Hit a bit of a power spike now for Armel, where he can just rotate around the map and just try to secure kills for his team and create all kinds of havoc. And as well as that, it looks like KP's made the call that he wants to be in the mid lane now, because that Pugna Clockwork lane is just going to be way too rough for him. Speaking of that Clockwork, Kescu being blocked up by the Fisher now throws out the cogs, but Tims will be able to secure the kill now on the Earthshaker, on the back of all the damage that Armel is dealing as well. Essentially for Armel, this is going to be his life for a while, just trying to kill people off.
Yeah, that's really what you expect from the Void Spirit though, and I did try to fix my internet. I'm not sure if it's really helping, is it?
You sound fantastic, sir.
Oh, okay. Good.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Welcome back, by the way.
Thank you. Looks like a fair bit of aggression came out here during that downtime, but one thing that's been consistent is Gabby's farm. He's still 53 to 5. He's died once, but I think at this point, Gabby's perfectly happy staying in the jungle.
Just generally what you see on the from the Terrorblades, they just find a few Wraith bands and make that rotation into the jungle. Bot lane, however, Armel still on a tear here, finding Hyde now on that AA.
Top tower is under attack.
His second kill of the game, but I believe that's the third kill he's participated in thus far. Finds a nice little Invis rune to bottle up as well while he's at it, and straight back down to the bot lane where we will see Hyde TP down to. He will slowly but surely start being surrounded. Even Gabby showing up now. Has that level 3 meta. It looks like it's time to try and push down a tier 1 tower.
Yeah, they've got the scan off as well. They know someone's hiding here, and Armel should find himself a nice kill.
Poor Hyde. Gonna go down very, very easily. Now, that'll be a guaranteed trade on those tier 1s as well. Of course, the side of B02 Esports did find their own tier 1 up at top lane. And it's off the back of Dreamercell, who has been farming rather nicely on that Lone Druid. Currently sitting at 4.2k net worth, and we are going to have another pause. We do have the... Just unpause like that, I don't think. You've got to kind of tell them. I believe it was probably a mistake, and yeah, Makoto, he was trying to pause at the same time.
Oh,
that's why he unpaused.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but you know, Southeast Asian internet fast reconnect, so that's a good sign. Nope, not a fast reconnect.
Sure, he'll be back soon.
Yeah, it's still looking a bit better here for TNC early on. I think that top tier 1 does put a bit of a dent in the areas where Gabby can farm, but the pace with the activity from Armel.
He's gonna make the way back into mid. Armel, of course, going to be going for that Spirit Vessel rush, which will really work out quite nicely up against all the heroes of Boom Esports. So denying some of that heal off from the Pugner, as well as just really dealing with that DK and the Lone Druid. KP, if he could bait them in right now, it'd just be fantastic, because he does also have the Reaper's Sight. We do have a reconnection there from Makoto, but no go ahead yet.
The one thing for Boom right now is their supports are not finding EXP. You look at KezCute, still stuck at level 3. You look at Hyde, who just hit 4 before dying there. And they need to hit that 6 mark to start playing aggressive. They need a hookshot, they need the Ice Blast. And before then, I think you're at the point where Cog's Battery Assault might not be enough without follow-up.
Find out soon, they might run into each other. Boom is, again, going to just try and control up that dive jungle, which is really important when you're up against a Terrorblade. Luckily, Gabby, understanding this, does go straight down to the Radiant side jungle and farm there instead. He can slowly apply this T2 tower pressure as well. He is left alone, like even just leaving an illusion there on the Tier 2 tower can be kind of annoying for Boom to try and deal with, but Makoto will already be there just to make sure. And now a smoke up from TNC, and they're going to run straight into KezCute. Not quite the kill they wanted. I believe they did really want Dreamercell on that Lone Druid, and that's why they ran north. Dreamercell, KezCute was there to break the smoke, and well, he's just going to go for a quick TB out. Nobody going to notice he's TBing, and he'll be fine to get out of there. But Hyde does end up going down to Gabby in the meantime. Now the outpost being taken away by TNC, that is not great for Boom. They are kind of relying on that outpost XP to get both their supports up in terms of levels, and now it's denied off.
Yeah, it's a really big win for TNC again. A much better start for them here as we reach the 10-minute mark. Boom, they're still going to be EXP starved. We talked about this earlier, but KezCute's still at 3. You don't even have 5 in Hyde. And this does mean that Boom can't be as aggressive as they'd want to be.
Bottom lane, Armel, Arcane Rune in the bottle, feeling confident. He'll spot out FBZ, but he doesn't have too many teammates around him right now. Doesn't feel like he can make that jump. However, Boom Esports would happily oblige if he did want to. Gotta be careful though now. Tim's does eat the tomb and does have level 6. Of course, still no blink up on the Earthshaker, but he's getting closer and closer as time goes on. And instead, TNC want to be the ones to try and force in towers, and they'll go after that Tier 1 mid. FBZ will get jumped on. Aether up there with a nice Bishop block onto FBZ. Now the Reaper side from the Echo, just to make sure he does end up dying. And they can definitely secure that Tier 1 mid with this Terrorblade meta.
Yeah, it's It's gonna be hard for Boom to fight in. They don't have their ults. They are splitting with Mikado up top as well. Mikado did do some damage to the tier 2, but he comes back in.
Dream Assault. Trying to prepare in to do something. It's not as tanky as you would hope at the moment. Some nice Bishop Lock just splitting up the team fight from Tim's. Kescute getting jumped on. Does survive with the conks. Dream Assault trying to run away with that Spirit Bear. Sends it back in. Dream Assault getting it rooted off here onto the turret. Waves to Crepify there as well. He's in trouble. Gabby will get blown up. Partner damage. You cannot underestimate how much he does. Now Armel trying to get out of there. He will Astral Step. The rest of TNC will be fine. But the problem is you did not find them in tier 1 and you did not end up getting Gabby out safely.
Yeah, it's a major issue for TNC. Just losing Gabby like that always hurts. He's number 1 in that port right now. It's their mid tier 1 that is going to be taken. And Boom just pushes faster. It's just that simple. Yeah?
It's substantially faster. Like, once you have the Master of Madness up on the Spirit Bear, it is kind of crazy how fast he can take down towers. And even that casual Blightstone on the actual lone Druid is, you know, really amplifying that damage from everybody.
It really is. And TNC, I think the best they can hope for is Armel to continue to hunt down people. Looks like he has his sights set on Kescute.
Gets Bishop up, does throw the cogs out, but Armel will happily just jump in. Ice Class was coming in in case. It does actually connect on Armel, who jumped into it. Mikado just needs a bit more damage. But it won't be enough. Armel should be just fine to walk out with his knife intact. They all TP up towards the top lane now, but they're going to try and deal with Dreamer Cell. He is going to TP. Tim's needs to get a Fisher off ASAP. Can't find one.
It's a missed opportunity. Right now, you really want to be able to punish Dreamocell. He's had a bit too free of a time, and he's just been steadily farming up towards what looks to be an MKB.
It's getting to that point where it might be too late. Like, this draft from Boom Esports is really starting to come out online. TNC may need to just try and play the avoid game as Kescute now looking for a hook shot on the clock. Won't quite find an angle, nor does he find a hero, but he will as Armel just kind of run straight into them. He can actually step away. Hook shot is perfect from Kescute. Just slipping right through that tree line.
Yeah, just the discipline in chaining those stunts and having the cogs right outside takes away this tempo setter of TNC. They do still maintain a 3k lead here. Is just riding on Gabby though. So you're bleeding out in a lot of your other cores. They are smoked up trying to find something, but even if they find FBZ, I don't think he minds on DK.
Nah, he won't mind too much. He's actually going to TP up. They're not going to get him in time. The only way to stop that was the blind Fisher from Tim's, but he couldn't see anything. And now with that rotation being made down bot lane, look at Dreamcell. Up at the top of Makoto, easily just pushing in a tier 2 tower, forcing out the glyph. You've got Kescute there as well, who has hook shot off cooldown in 5 seconds. There's no way to defend this. Boom will just take it for free.
Yeah, and they can't even push out the bot lane as well. As a trade, there's just not a fast push coming out, even if you commit the metamorphosis. It's just not as strong. They could try to go for the mid, but they've kind of split up now.
No. Gotta be careful. Kescute is looking for that angle. He waits for the dissimulate. Rocket Flare will not get vision, and Armel will get out of range. But there's another thing you have to be scared about here if you're TNC. Of course, when you have a lone druid, you always have that Roshan potential. And it's not going to be very hard to take that Roshan down quickly with a Pugna DK and lone druid. Boom Esports, I'm sure they'll slowly but surely start warding around that pit, getting prepared for it.
Yeah, it's going to be a very easy objective for them to take. They've got the control on the map as well. They could just say that Gabby is farming in a very unsafe area. He is spotted out.
Makoto gonna be there to crepify another blast. FBZ coming in now. He has the stun. No Dragon Tail yet. He waits for the Manta. Now Manta expended. He will jump in with the Life Train as well, but the hook shot. Kesku will make sure he dies. They do at least find a trade onto the partner, but Armel now needs to run away. Tims will fish up and allow some space for his Void Spirit. But Boom Esports, you trade a Pugma for a Terrorblade, I think you're happy.
You're very happy with that trade. You're just taking away that investment TNC's putting into Gabby. Again, that slight lead TNC has, a lot of it is just on Gab. So you're not finding maximum value from that Terrorblade so far. And every single time he dies, Boom just gets happier. They can shove out a lane, they can slowly build up. Dreamocell's still waiting on that MKB. Should be up and running soon, although.
Output's taken, Kesku taking a bit of damage, but the thing is with support Clockwork, he's actually a little bit tanky. It's kind of hard to burst him down. And Armel just doesn't really have the damage unless he can hit him for a prolonged amount of time. And now KP top lane gets bursted down. That's that Ice Blast you talked about against KP's Necrophos. It is going to be a problem. Well, that's why.
Yeah, there's just no way you survive unless you've got a way to bail yourself out. And it's not easy. The Necrophos' strength is on the edge. You're not going to have an edge to play on with that hero here.
Onto that tier 2 mid tower. Not going to be the fastest push, but I say that. Mask of Madness on the Spirit Bear. Makoto with the Nether Blast. They did make these towers tankier, but you've still got heroes that tend to deal with them quite easily nonetheless. KP will show himself mid. March will also TP in, but it looks like Boom are just happy with forcing those rotations. They'll back off again. Just keep making TNC chase you around the map. That's the objective, it seems.
Yeah, they are playing that quite well, Boom. TNC's not finding the targets they want with these chases. Armel has really just not farmed. He's been constantly around the map, and this is going to hurt his Ag's timing. You know, he found those early kills, which were great. It slowed down a lot now. And that just means you're tearing farm away from Gabby if you do try to go into the jungle.
Mid lane, they'll send the Terrorblade illusions in, which will be enough to force the deny of the tier 1 tower. The Dreamcell will not give any free gold out. Now, TNC roaming through the jungle. Looks like Kesku does catch out Tims. Tims had the Blink Dagger up, but does end up dropping regardless, as it was cancelled by Kesku. I guess now if you're TNC, you're just playing the waiting game here for Gabby. Trying to farm up that Eye of Skadi on the Terrorblade. But while you're farming that up, there's an MKB up now on Dreamcell Spirit Bear.
Just makes it a lot harder to tank through that damage on Dreamcell. Not only that, but I believe Mikado has his first day gone up.
Uh-oh. Might be on the courier. Gabby farming right next to Boom. Tim jumps in, gets an Echo Slam on the Lone Druid. Do they have enough though? He's morphing.
No.
He'll be fine. He will not die. And now Armel will jump in, but that Lone Druid, he's so tanky right now. Kesku at least will die. Reaper Scythe will be enough. They do secure the kill, and now FBZ needs to get out of there. Clumsy net, not going to help his cause. He will die. They will chase for the final kill around them. Hyde. He'll be alright, he gets out in time as well. But that's a 3-for-1 trade. The only one to die was Tims on the Earthshaker. And that's really the potency of KP's Reaper's Scythe. Nobody else can deal with the Lone Druid apart from this Necrophos.
Yeah, it's a great fight for TNC. With Boom there was that Mikado was so far away. He wasn't in that fight, and that did cost them. They need a way to mitigate the damage coming out from Gabby. They did not have it there. The Spirit Vessel was doing a lot of work as well from Armel to stop our DK from being a tanky boy. So TNC now starting to find ways to chip away at Boom, but Boom probably not feeling too phased out from that.
Top lane, Armel. Nice kill, FBZ.
Oh.
Doesn't get the Dragon's Tail off. Would have been a basic insta-kill had he stunned, but looks like there was a bit of confusion there.
没有感情的刷钱机器。
Yeah, he's not happy about it, that's for sure. Armel does get out scot-free. They still go though.
Ooh.
Hook, oh, perfect from Kescu. That's the thing about playing Clockwork, Johnny. You've got to find angles. The Kescu continues to find them, just on the edge of that hook.
Yeah, just still giving them something with that kill. Not the biggest kill, of course, but you're getting gold on your clock. That is helpful. This allows them to go into the Roche pit. It should be fairly quick once Dreamosol joins in.
Yeah, we talked about this Roshan before. It's going to be a really fast Roche with the lone druid. And TNC not in position to try and counter this Roshan play. They have smoked up now. They do have time. Echo is down for 15 seconds, however. But they just want to try and go for a steal. KP moving his way in. FBZ stuns an illusion. Roshan still up, and now a bounty being placed on the AA, and Hyde is actually going down to Armel. Still, the Roshan is very low, but Armel does claim the bounty. That's one way of winning. He gets a stun off. They do swap Armel on that Void Spirit. Echo is going to be there from Tims, landing on 2, but it's not enough. Tims will die to Makoto. Now that Spirit Bear hitting away onto KP, and he has no Reaper side target. He is going to die as well. It's a triple kill out for Makoto. The tips come out from the clock, and it's just back into the Roshan pit. They just didn't really focus on that Roshan. They're trying to focus on the outer fight. And it was really Armel. He tried to take down the AA first. He found the AA, but they just never really made their way into the pit afterwards.
Yeah, it's a costly mistake, and Armel is their most mobile hero. He's the guy who could go in, interrupt the Roche fight, and that split cost them. They lose a lot of heroes. Aegis means that you're going to have a harder time dealing with Dreamosol. And TNC now, they don't have Slam, so the next team fight, not going to have that tool available. Boom should be able to push into a lane with no real worries.
Exactly what they intend to do. Going back for that tier 2 mid tower. Dreamosol will be cautious. He doesn't want to just lose the Aegis for no reason. KP, you do not want to be there right now. BZ gonna loop around looking for that Dragon Tail, but no, they'll just try to secure that tier 2. They'll find it. And now Boom, maybe just opt to back out, and they almost have an AC up on Dreamosol, so there's no need to rush this.
That's slow and steady for them. This does give TNC time to finish up that Scotty on Gabby. So he's gonna hit a little bit harder, mitigate the healing coming out from Mikado. But his focus has mainly been on nukes this time. Not a very heal-friendly Pugna. So it's not gonna help too much against that burst, although the stat padding is nice.
Gabby moving himself from that bottom lane. He was in real danger there. Smoke will lead to nothing for Boom Esports. But Boom want to continue this aggression. They don't want to give any more time over to that Terrorblade, who does have that Eye of Skadi up, building into that. Wonder though whether they'll try to force a high ground push, or whether they'll just go for a full-scale team fight to really expend that Aegis here for the side of Boom.
Yeah, I think they'd want to use it on an objective. That's where their team really shines. So they smoke again, and looks like they have an idea where TNC's at.
Well, they left Dreamosol at the bot lane by himself. So a lot of damage you're missing, and the reason why they smoked up is because Kescu's in trouble. He will die, but now FPZ jumps in anyway with the Ice Blast follow-up there from Hyde, but Armel's still alive throughout all this. Now the Nether Ward, Armel trying to TP out. The Ice Blast passive may be enough.
No?
Ooh, it was close.
Ooh.
He'll survive. KP, however, still being chased up. Dreamosol has now joined his team. KP has that good.
No.
Oh, that is a sneaky spot, KP. He does get away. Oh, that is cheeky.
Oh, man.
A cheeky one.
And that's why Boom should start killing just to ensure they find those kills. But in the end, TNC's gonna be pretty happy with that. They forced the buyback out from Kescute. They don't really find anything beyond that, but just forcing the buyback out is enough to take a little bit of that lead Boom had away. Kescute's progression has slowed down, And TNC gets more space to farm for Gabby. As you mentioned, he's saving up for the BKB. He's inching closer towards it, and once you have that BKB, you aren't worried about Mikoto anymore.
Still worried about that low druid though. Dreamer Cell, very close to having the full AC, and now looks to make a push onto the high ground. Again, we talked about that ages. He is going to indeed use it on objective. That's the glyph. Boom won't glyph their own creeps. Then FBD jumping onto Tim's hookshot there to back him up. It doesn't connect on Tim still. The Nether Blast will be enough. Tim's does have buyback available. Meanwhile, Mel does actually find Kezcute on the clock, and that should stop the push. As well as that, Gabby pushing that bot lane down, forcing a defense out of Boom Esports.
Yeah, TNC are holding on quite well. I think Kezcute just being caught out is costing a lot. They need the lockdown from the cogs to help them find these kills. Dreamocell does finish up the AC, so there's a lot more damage coming out from her bear. If they can find somewhere to channel that, it's just that they can't. And once more, Gabby being left alone like this might be able to really overtake. He's already 3k ahead of Dreamocell. So the TB is really building up here, and Boom has not been punishing.
He needs just a bit more. He's getting there though. I believe he has his full BKB on the way. Yeah, that's his courier. That's the BKB. What does he want after that though? Gonna go for the Satanics. Fairly standard stuff for this TB. But at that point, once you've got that Satanic up, you're feeling a lot safer. Mind you, you are still concerned about the AA, but at least with the BKB, you won't need to be worried too much about the Ice Blast. Bot lane, Gabby ends up getting a kill onto Mikoto, and now they also end up finding Kezcute, and with that, it's a tier 3 push to start. And a Rats. This really shouldn't be happening here for Boom Esports.
Whew. Tim's just went in, commit the slam. That was enough. They don't have it for the next fight, but it doesn't matter when you take the objectives like this. And once more, you're seeing the effect of leaving Gabby alone. He's just doing a lot of work now. Fresh BKB up and running on the Terrorblade. Meaning that again, your burst damage towards him is limited.
Extends it to a 7k net worth lead for TNC now. Gabby's still farming up. Boom Esports must be aware that their time is slowly starting to run out. Dreamers are already getting prepared for having a bit more deep push on the side of Boom Esports, trying to go for a Mjolnir. BZ has to be careful down at that bot lane. He does have his team making their way over to him. The rest of TNC weren't very close by. They're going to try and TP out. They'll get Armel out of there. Tim's might not be so lucky, and Gabby's also around the corner. Just trying to break the distance. Ice Blast, going to be used to scout out. Doesn't quite find anything. Rocket Flare will spot out Gabby on the retreat, but you're not close enough for a hook shot. So Boom Esports now being the ones to chase around TNC, but don't find anything.
Yeah, and again, TNC, as this game stalls on, they are getting a lot more. Gabby just continues to grow to be a bigger threat. And Boom's farm is starting to fall behind. Dreamocell is at 15k, Gabby's at 20. Terrorblade really is building up a massive lead. What Boom needs to get done is really just find a solid pickoff. That's what we were seeing from them earlier. They need to rely on Kezcute to isolate someone, burst them down, and then force a bigger fight with a numbers advantage.
Boom Esports back down to the bot lane, maybe just trying to set up to that bottom T2 tower that's been left. Do have another pause. Boom Esports still having multiple internet issues here, it seems. Time Dreamcell the one to have those issues.
Yeah, it's One of those days for the internet, I suppose. Man, TNC, with that 7k lead, I mean, it's not just Gabby, although we've been talking about him a lot, but you look at Armel, with the Ags, the silence is going to cause a lot of issues there. The only real core to fall behind, well, quite a fair bit behind, is KP. Just really focusing on surviving. Force Staff, Hood of Defiance, and Glimmercake. All the magic resist in the world just to prevent himself from getting bursted down. Can't really blame him. This is taking quite a fair bit away from Boom. Mikado went all in on the Dagons. Is saving up for the Aeon Disc next, just to give himself a little bit more survivability, and that's going to be key. They really need Mikado and Kezcute around. And Hyde as well, to land their combos off and burst one hero down. That's all they need to find a follow-up, and Boom has not been able to do that.
But they haven't.
Radiant's top tower is under
Still, Boom seems a bit confused about what they're doing here, right? Like, they've kind of been running around the map, smoking up, chasing TNC, but TNC has constantly just avoided them the past 5-10 minutes. Again, they find Armel, he'll TP up. AB will TP up. Gabby, though, he's been left alone. Gets stunned up. March will cancel his TP, but now the hookshot is in from Kezcute. Soulbind comes out. Ice Blast will be whipped. March in trouble, and Gabby will BKB TP. Had March not cancelled that TP in time, that would have been disastrous. However, Dreamcell also going down to the bot lane.
Yeah, it's a better trade for TNC. They find the bigger target in the end. The Dreamcell gonna be set back by quite a fair bit, and this is an opening.
FBZ gonna be in trouble. Nice vicious start there onto FBZ. They don't have the Reaper Scythe. It was used for the Lone Druid, but they don't need it. They've got the Spirit Vessel, and the damage from Armel is enough. And now Hyde trying to cancel, trying to TP out, does get cancelled. Will end up dying. Armel picking up a double kill on the Void Spirit. The Roshan has just come up. They've got a double damage rune sitting there. Perfect timing for TNC.
Yeah, they've got the Metamorphosis up as well if they wanted to use it there. Just a lot of opportunities here for TNC to build up, and boom. Man, it's just slowly kind of falling apart for them. The lead grows wider, they're not finding the pickoffs they want. They're going to have to give this Roche away as well. They could try to hookshot in with Kezcute. It's only him and Mikado, and there's not much you can expect from just two heroes here.
Oh, for sure though, you go for the steal. Like, Kezcute has to try for it, I think. He sees it, but he's got to find a gap, and yeah, no, March is already aware. Does get in there on the high ground, make sure that there's no angles. Tims is blocking the angles as well here on the side of the Roshan pit. So you won't bother trying to throw your life away as the clock. TNC now. The Aegis up on Gabby. Still gonna be fairly cautious. They don't, well, they do actually have meta up, but they don't have the Echo. It's gonna come off cooldown now. Perhaps TNC could opt to just go for a quick smoke play and try and commit that Aegis straight off the bat, considering you do have all those big ultis up.
Yeah, there's nothing that can stop them. Again, Boom has kind of fallen apart here. They need to get either from Kezcute or FBZ, but every single time they've just been isolated and kind of been chasing around, as you mentioned. So Boom, they need to maybe wait for a few more items on Dreamcell. He is building up a lot more in the bear, but it's going to be a slow build-up towards the Abyssal here.
Gabby's going to start making his way into that mid lane. He's going to secure that tier 2 mid tower. A backdoor protection, however, not able to get through it, so they'll have to wait for that creep wave. Gabby just going to use his illusion to get the work done. Still, TNC are going to wait for a way to try and get into this high ground, and actually FBZ out of position here, or maybe just baiting. Gabby, Bishop, gonna come out from Tim. Reaper side now, but there's a Glimmer Cake there. FBD is safe. He BKBs up, but it's too much physical damage from Gabby, and now they go back down onto the lone druid. Gabby with the spider legs just goes down the cliff. Dreamer solves a big problem right now. Hook shotting from Kevski, but what an echo. Tim's holding the support back, not allowing any kind of healing, and that'll mean Dreamer Cell will die. We see one buyback, but the rest of the cores on Boom Esports, they don't have buybacks available. And that's the GG. That quickly end out game number 2.
Man, they just gave too much space to Gabby to farm up. It looked like they were finding the early objectives there, but the chasing around went against them, and in the end, TNC got enough space out. And this is also the